But it's just as important to get that brand up and going so that if a grantor was to go look at your site or your social media, they're like, oh, these people are legit, right? They're actually doing what they say they do. And so we're gonna have Jaden Young gonna be up in here speaking in just a few minutes. And then we have another one of our partner companies coming in to teach on tax strategies for the entrepreneurs in the room. So we're gonna have tax strategies, but then also lastly, we have a special guest, Saida Garrett Guest, going to come in and talk about how you can plan your legacy as an entrepreneur. A lot of people wait too late to plan for, you know, their legacy, but the best time to do that is now, right? They say the best time to plant a tree was what, 50? Is that how the saying goes? Like 50 years ago, the next best time is today, right? Something like that. So we want to make sure that you guys are prepared, and I expect this room to keep filling up. So real quick, before we get started, let me go ahead and hear two takeaways from this week's event. I want two people to use the hand raise feature. I know it's early. Don't be shy. Use the hand raise feature. What was two big takeaways you've had through this past week? And I expected Johnny to come up here, so I'm glad he did. Johnny, good morning, man. Happy Saturday. What was your takeaway this week?
What's up, my brother? What's up, Coach K? What's up, family? Honestly, I gotta tell you, that foundation piece, I'm doing so much IT stuff and I want to run my AI, I want to run like my robotic stuff. But what Coach K has helped me realize is that, even though I want to do all of that, if I'm going to go out there and try to get funding, I got to at least be positioned in such a way that when grantors look at me, they can see that I'm legitimate. I can say that I want to do AI, I can say that I want to do all this stuff with robotics, but you know what? I got to be able to show them professionally. And showed me this week what it looks like to be professional so that when they do look at me, they want to actually work with me. So I gotta give Coach K a big shout out. And Coach K, let me tell you something. Now you know I'm deep in this stuff right now with robotics and the AI. I am taking a step back, and if there's still room to join your program, I have to figure out how to do it. I'm going to put my AI to the side, and I think I'm going to join. So I appreciate you
Awesome.
guys. I
I
love you.
love it, man. I love it. Yes, we got to start
Awesome.
taking this serious, y'all. No, no more just making this a hobby. No more. No more just making this that little thing you do. Let's go all in. If you're going to go all in this year, like Johnny's going to, put all in the chat. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey,
I
love you
appreciate you
guys.
very much. All
Thank
right.
you.
Let me see. Oh, coach, was that you saying something?
I just said thank you, Johnny.
Oh, let me pull you. I didn't even know you were in the room. My bad. My
I'm
bad.
here.
Where you at? Where you at? Let me pull you up here. There we go. Good morning. Awesome. You guys know, like, Coach, give it up for her. She showed up. Listen, this is the seventh day in a row, y'all. Seventh day in a row. She doesn't even have to be on these trainings, but she's on this one specifically, but she's here to be with you guys. So, Cornell, what's up, brother? Let us know what was your takeaway this week.
My takeaway, along with others, was foundation and business structure. But my biggest takeaway this week was mindset. On the Pacific time frame, when you guys have the mindset sessions, I'm always in the middle of my workout, and I said, "Well, I won't have my camera on, but I'm gonna be sweating and huffing and listening." And Damon blew my mind this week. I think the biggest thing, as they said earlier, coach is serious about anyone connected to her and you growing and becoming your best. And that's what I love so much about her. She's not talk, she's not fluff, she's about action. And she shows that every time you connect with her. And I applaud you, coach. I sincerely appreciate you. You're changing my life. Michael, you as well. You all are changing my life. And I'm so grateful to be part of this community. You just don't know. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you said community, academy,
Academy.
academy.
Yes, Academy.
Thank
Academy.
you. Thank you so much, Cornell. I love working with you and I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you, Cornell, for the kind words. And you can tell we truly built all these programs, these resources, these trainings with the heart and mindset to really help and serve you guys. So a lot of people just host events and stuff just to be pitch fest and stuff. We actually want you guys to succeed. Now, will we have opportunities like we talked about for you to get better mentorship? Yeah, but the goal is that we help you guys where you're at right now. So last one, then we're going to bring up our first guest speaker, Miss Susan McDonald. How's it going?
Oh, I'm good. Am I on? Am I? Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can.
can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I can say the same thing. I will echo what the last gentleman, Cornell, said. The impact, amazing. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Yes, amazing. But the things that hit me again was the impact, the stories that you tell that resonate with myself even. The other part is reinvesting in yourself. You guys know right now I'm fighting my butt off to get in that academy. I'm gonna be in it. I'm doing it. I was up early and still trying to get in there, but I'm getting in there. The part where you spoke about reinvesting in yourself, that is stuck. I mean, I've had no sleep doing what I got to do to get where I want to go. The two of you guys have again caused me to check myself. I have invested in everybody around me, and to the place, like you said, Coach, to depleting myself in a lot of ways. But it's not an excuse. What it is it's a wake up call. And Neo was saying the other day, the part where he was talking about don't let your dreams be in the graveyard. I can't. If I don't make this move, there are so many people that are going to lose because I didn't do it to prepare for them. Taking stuff off my plate. What did you say? Get stuff off your plate. You know that I'm dealing with my aunt. I put her in respite yesterday after the surgery because I need the respite to be able to get this done because I was distracted trying to do both. A life thing. So I want to say I'm here this morning. I'm hoarse. I've been up all night. But the bottom line being is thank you, Coach. I told you I'm reporting to duty. I'm here. I'm gonna get it done. And Michael, yeah, thank you. You guys are kicking me in my butt, and it's a little sore, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you again. And thank you for always showing up and being ready. I appreciate you so much. And I know I'm going to see you in the academy. I know you're coming. Thank you.
Awesome. I love it. Well, you all, we're gonna go ahead because we have a tight schedule this morning. Is it cool we just jump right on in and just go straight to the value? Is that cool with y'all? Just put yes in the chat. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna introduce our very first guest of the day. This individual, whenever I asked him to come speak, he did not bat an eye. He literally was like, I didn't even have to tell him the time. He said, "Yep, I'll be there." And so I love this individual because he has a willingness to serve, and he's such a great he's so skilled at what he does. And so today we have Jaden Young going to be up here talking about content and social media, right? Content has been something that changed Coach K's life. She would tell you content, learning how to create good content, learning how to get really good on social media. I can even just see it for Coach has changed, her life has changed my life as well. And so what we're going to be doing today is bringing on Mr. Jaden to talk about, how you guys can, convert on social, but then, also set yourself up for success for when you get these grants, they can go and look at your page and be like, they're the one. So Jaden, welcome up to the stage, brother. We're so excited
What's up?
this morning. We got hundreds of people watching on YouTube and Facebook. We're so
Oh
excited.
yeah, we lit. Thank you all so much for having me. Very big disclaimer. You will never meet another person that is more excited to talk about content on a day-to-day basis than me. So if that reflects through my slides, that's why. Hopefully. Now, what I did say was yes, slides, because I don't want to sit here and y'all spent the last X amount of days and all y'all get is me just up here in my camera and me just talking about a bunch of no, we getting some slides because y'all know Coach K is no fluff. So why would I come on here and give some fluff? It doesn't make any sense. So once again, very appreciative. Let's get into it. So for everybody watching this, I'm going to give you 3 content lessons that most entrepreneurs mess up on. Again, on my day-to-day basis, and let me know if y'all can see my screen. Can y'all see this? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Head shakes? Okay, good. A lot of entrepreneurs mess up on the content piece. As you all have just heard Michael say, Coach K literally changed her business with content in and of itself. And so I want all of you to be able to leverage it as well. And speaking of leverage, content itself is leverage, right? So I'm pretty sure all of y'all have heard this, right? And again, I'm no business expert. I'm a content expert, but I'm no business expert. But this is true. Some of the biggest types of leverage for business owners is quite literally capital, connections, and content. Capital. Y'all know Coach K got y'all with capital. Obviously, this is one of the biggest reasons y'all here. Point blank period. Coach K got you with the capital. But also, Coach K got you with the connections. So now you just got this nice little slideshow I put together for y'all for the content. So anyway, excuse me. Anyways, on to the 3 lessons. Lesson number 1, there's a crazy shift that needs to happen for you in order for you to truly take advantage of social media. Point blank, period. A lot of people will try to hop straight into make 70 videos a day on 80,000 platforms. No, first of all, before you do any of that and give yourself a headache and put yourself more into a analysis by paralysis rut, I need you to take advantage and really think about this shift that you need to make. So, in order to truly take advantage of this shift, it's a mindset shift that needs to happen. As you can see, this person right here doesn't have a crown, and then this guy has a crown. Here's why. This person over here has the mindset of, I make content for my business. No, y'all see, I put this X right here. And a lot of you in this room, even if you haven't made a piece of content yet, when you started making content, or when you start, excuse me, making content, this is going to be the first mindset that you think to adapt. I make content for my business. But in reality, over here, this guy with this crown, obviously, you need to put yourself in a mindset of, I am a business owner. And I spell owner wrong. I make mistakes. I'm human. I am a business owner that leverages content. That's the mindset I need you in. And here's the biggest difference between the two. As I said, this one is not so good. No, no, no. Here's why. Number 1, you'll be stuck on the CSO wheel. CSO wheel stands for content stress output wheel. A lot of you are on your day-to-day, if you are making content for your business already, you on your day-to-day like, oh, snap. Okay, let me figure out what content I need to think about. Dang, then I got to shoot it. Now I got to edit it. But dang, is this going to be a good content? This is going to make me money. It's a cycle. It's literally the hamster wheel of content output, and it's not where you want to be. Also, you'll lose track of the purpose of posting content anyways. What does that also mean? That also carries on towards your audience won't even have the correct perspective of you when you post this content because you lost the purpose of it, because you're on this CSO wheel again, which is content stress output wheel. And above all else, this last bullet point here, you will be trapped on the wrong pathway of perception. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about this later in a very short amount of time. Again, I'm going to try to move fast. Take screenshots, take notes. Please, I encourage it. Now, this mindset, which is the best mindset to be in, and this is the mindset that Coach K is in every time she makes a post. She's a business owner that leverages content. Every piece of content that she posts is going out strategically because she's a business owner that's leveraging content. Why? Because you'll be able to get more leverage from the content that you post. Your audience will feel like they need you based on how you post and when you post. Your content will actually serve a freaking purpose. A lot of us here are posting just to post, and there's no real purpose behind it. And then last but not least, I don't know about y'all, but my rent comes every month. So therefore, we need to make some money. And so a business owner that leverages content is extremely important. Now, y'all remember when I said you'll be trapped on the wrong pathway to success, right? You'll be stuck on the wrong perception pathway of your audience. How I said we're going to talk about it. Here's what that means. So there are 3 perception pathways when it comes to social media. 3 perception pathways. As you can see here, I did it with emojis, so therefore you guys can actually visualize and understand what I'm saying, right? So first, we have here the face is like, I don't know. Over here, we got the face that's a little bit like, I don't know. But then here we have the path that's in the middle. That's the perfect perception pathway. And I'm going to go to each and let you know which ones you don't want to be. Let you know which ones you do want to be. So first perception path. Well, my fault. Why it matters in the first place. The 3 perception pathways is literally just subconsciously how your audience thinks of you and determine if or when they buy something from you. Long story short, that's what it is. So, for example, Coach K has an amazing perception pathway from all of you all that are on this call. Why? Because a lot of you want to learn from her more. You want to get inside the academy. You have an amazing perception of who Coach K is, the information that she provides, and you will be doing yourself and your audience a disservice if you don't allow them to have the same feeling of you. Does that make sense? Thumbs ups, head shakes. Okay. Okay, cool. So now on to the pathways. The first one, as you can see, it got this slice face. It ain't it. It's the celebrity to the fans. Here's what I mean. Think of Taylor Swift. The problem with Taylor Swift, right? She has a fan base, and I'm talking a big fan base because she is a celebrity. Now, again, this is her fan base. Absolutely crazy. A lot of us, we think, oh snap, I need to have this big fan base type of audience. And I promise you that's not the way you want to go. Why? Because if Taylor Swift was to drop certain products, or if she was to go to certain places and be framed in certain ways, yes, we may buy a couple t-shirts, we may buy her album, her whatever, but when it comes to things like products, when it comes to things like capital, when it comes to things like exactly what Coach K has been able to teach you, you almost start to look untouchable. When you start to make content and your fans, you have fans and they feel like they see you as a celebrity, you become untouchable. And then if you become untouchable, they feel like you can't relate to them. So you don't know their real pain points. And what that means is they don't give a dang to learn from you. Point blank, period. And why this is important for them to learn from you is because this is how you start to build a real audience. When they feel like you're not untouchable, when they feel like you know their pain points instead of not knowing their pain points, and when they feel like they actually want to learn from you, you're the perception of your social media presence across the accounts, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever it is, the perception is completely different. And so, therefore, what you don't want to be is a celebrity, and you don't want your followers to see you, or excuse me, you don't want to see your followers as fans. It's just not the way you want to go. Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and this one is extremely controversial, you'll see why. We have best friend and friends. Here's what that means. Your audience thinks of you as your best friend. You are extremely close. You give everything away for free, but you give it away for free in a way that they just don't feel conviction to do anything, and they see you as a best friend. Now, a lot of us, right? A lot of us think this is good, right? I want my audience to feel like a best friend. I want them to see me as this person. But I promise you, you don't. Here's why. And again, this is very controversial. Your audience will never buy a high ticket product for you. I want you to think of this, okay? Will you ever buy a high ticket product from your best friend? Be real. Don't lie to me. I know some of y'all want to think of yourselves as good friends, but don't lie to me. Would you ever buy a high ticket product from your best friend? Would you ever give your best friend? I know it's your best friend, but genuinely think of yourself as the bank. When banks look at you on social media, do you want the bank? I know what it sounds like, but you want the bank to look at you in a certain light. You want the bank to be like, this is a person I would give capital to. You don't want the bank to be like, yo, this a little too this ain't sitting with me right. And see, Tanika, I see you in the chat. You saying you will because you support each other. And I'll be honest, even though some of y'all say yes, the answer is no. The answer is no. And I'll be honest, I'm one of the I have good friends. I'm a great friend. But sometimes there's going to be a big subconscious thought. If my friend was to come to me and be like, listen, yo, I got this thing for you, 17,000. I'd be like, sir, where my best friend discount at? Where my brother discount at? What's my family discount? That's not the perception that you want of your audience, because now you seem extremely accessible. You seem too accessible. And then what happens is, and shout out to Myron Golden for giving me these words, because what happens is you attract cheapo and you attract freeple. What are cheapo and freeple? These are people who only care about cheap stuff and people who only care about free stuff. And then to top it all off, they don't care to learn from you. Have you ever told your best friend something, or your sister something, or your brother something, and it could be the best information of their life? It could change their whole situation, and it go like this in their ear. It go in one ear and out the other one. Yeah, it's because you're too close to them. It's entirely too close, and so that's not the perception you want. Now, we got one path left in the middle. One path left in the middle, and that's the path you want to be on, and that is expert and followers. You want to be perceived as the expert, and you want your followers to be perceived as followers. Obviously, now followers in a negative connotation or a negative light, but this is the golden chest. This is that that's what this is. This pathway here is that, and here's why. We all know Alex Hormozy. We all know Coach K. When you think of Hormozy, when you think of Coach K, when you think of Neo Davis, what do you think of when you hear their names? You think expert, you think expensive, you think information, you think life changing, you think I need access to this person. These are the things that you are thinking. And imagine if you could just allow these things to happen when somebody thinks of your name or when a bank looks at your profile simply just because of the content that you post. So we're going to put a check mark next to this one because this is the route we all want to go. I see Kim say, I want that. No, you need it. This ain't something you want. This is something you need. Now, I'm going to try to go fast because I don't want to waste no time. So this is exactly what I did. This is exactly what Coach K did. This is exactly what every expert that you like, this is what they did. So again, this is going to be how. I got you. So, ta-da. Now that you understand the best pathway, which is being perceived as an expert, I need all of you to write this down or just think about this. When you go to make content for the love of God or any higher power that you believe in, my big God over here. For the love of God, please do not go and look everywhere else for content ideas. We have a habit of thinking, oh my God, okay, let me see what this person's doing with content. Okay, let me try to mix this person with this person. I like this editing style over here. Let me do this. And it puts you in a mindset that is going to hurt you from a content perspective. What you need to be doing, you need to be leveraging. Now that you know this pathway of you want to be perceived as an expert, please write this down. You need to be using internal based content. For example, every single last one of us on this call, we have our own set of beliefs. We have our own principles, our own lessons that we've learned. We have our own frameworks. We have our own principles. I don't know if I just said that. We have these like 5 main things that we have in our brain that's living rent free. We have all of these ideas. We're able to riff so good when someone asks us about a specific topic, and yet we don't use it for content. It's madness. When this is the content, internal based content is the content that's actually going to make you money. Once again, my rent comes every single month on the 1st. Never fails. Why would I not be leveraging content that's internal based? Every principle that you can think of, every belief that allows your audience to genuinely connect with you, every framework, every lesson that you have that you already went through, why not give that to your audience in the form of content? Why make your audience take the steps when you took the steps? Put them on the escalator. Put them on the elevator. You've already helped them out. A lot of you are here from Coach K's content. I guarantee you, Coach K's content is internal based. It worked for you. It worked for her. It got you here. Why wouldn't you leverage that for yourself? Now, that was lesson 1. We got 2 more lessons, so I'm trying to move fast. Lesson 2, how to actually get good at making content. Now, I'm gonna keep this one as simple as possible because there will be so many people on the internet that will try to make it complicated. So this ain't what you're doing. In order for your content to actually make you some money, it needs some things. It needs T, V, and C. Y'all can screenshot this. I encourage you to. T, V, and C. T stands for trust. Your content needs to be positioned in a trust matter. V stands for visibility. You just need people to see you. And then C is for conversions. Once again, my rent comes every month. Trust, visibility, conversions. Now, trust. Trust is extremely simple to build with your audience. All it comes from simple, undeniable value and promise keeping in your content. So many of us, when we make content, we may be clickbait or we don't fulfill on the full promise that we promised them in the hook of it. Speaking of hooks, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Wink, wink. We need to fulfill. We need every single time our audience sees us pop up, every single time anybody looks at our profile, we need them to have undeniable conviction and understand that this person is about nothing but value. I seen it in the chat earlier. A lot of y'all was like, yo, Coach K over delivers every time. She's built trust. She's built trust. That trust comes from undeniable value and promise keeping. Here's what that can simply look like. Give true information, give new perspectives, give stuff that always works, and leave them with good mindsets. So many times we will create content and we forget how we leave our audience. We think so much about how we start the video, but we forget to understand that our audience will remember the end of our video before they remember the beginning. Remember that. Remember that. Number 2, visibility. Now, surface level ways to make this happen. Post. Some of y'all just don't even post. This is what a lot of y'all content calendar look like right now. Okay, I'm gonna post Tuesday. I'm gonna post Thursday. Okay, I'm gonna maybe post Saturday, but that's just this week. Next week, okay, I might just, Wednesday. Oh, snap, it's Friday. Let me try to throw something up. This is what a lot of y'all content calendar looks like. Here's what it needs to look like, bare minimum. You need to be posting. Visibility is also your audience's radar. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. This is your audience's radar. This your audience. Let's say these are 3 of your dream people that could see your video. Some dream companies that want to see your video. This is the radar. This is what they see online. All of your content is going outside of their radar. Why? Because you're not really making content for them. You think you are, but you're really not. And here's why. Your content isn't reaching the right people. The reason your content isn't reaching the right people and the reason that your content is outside of your audience's ideal radar is because you're doing one of these 2 things. One, you're making content of what you think they want to see. You don't know for sure, but you gonna think for them. You're gonna say, I think this will be all right. Or you're making content that only you care about making. You're making content that you care to post. You're not thinking about your audience. You think about you. Okay, well, this is my profile. This is my online presence. So I'm gonna just post what I want to post. Again, you're losing the purpose of why you're posting in the first place. So how many of y'all, you can just put a 1 in the chat. We're gonna try to move fast. How many of y'all ever fell into one of these categories? It's okay. You can be honest with me. Okay. I love the honesty. I'm looking at the honesty. I like it. And it's all right because we're going to help you fix it. Okay. So what you need is obviously for your content to fall within the radar. Excuse me. Now let's get into how. First, we all know ChatGPT. For everybody that's ever used ChatGPT for any type of content idea ever, 9 times out of 10, you made a little prompt that was like, give me 10 content ideas that about X, Y, and Z in X industry, in X niche. Screenshot this, please. Please screenshot this. This is the prompt. Any AI tool that you use to find content ideas, this is the bare minimum prompt that I need you to use. I want you to act as an expert social media researcher and marketer. I need you to make me a table. This table will serve as market research database and ideation center for my online content. I am a blank, whatever your industry is, looking to see what content I can create that aligns with my target audience's frustration, desires, issues, wants, and needs. My target audience is this. These ideas are going to be on platforms like Instagram and YouTube. Screenshot this, use this. When you screenshot, comment 1 in the chat. I'll give you about 10 seconds. One. Oh yeah, I love it. Let's get it, y'all. So now you're gonna get those ideas, but now you got to start making those content ideas. And I'm pretty sure all of y'all have heard about hooks. We all know about the hook of the video, or do you? A lot of things on the internet, and a lot of us right now have the idea that hooks are like a gimmick. Oh my God, the hook. If I just get this viral hook, my video gonna go viral. If I just get this type of hook, I'm gonna make some money from my content. But in reality, bring it back some. Just take a step back. A hook isn't a gimmick. A hook is just the interest peaking of your audience. It determines whether or not your audience is actually going to watch your piece of content or they not. Simple as that. Like that's just flat out simple. It's not a gimmick. It's just the interest. And so this is important to know because I'm about to break something down to you. So I'm gonna need y'all to screenshot real fast. Hooks. Every single good hook in every piece of content has bare minimum two parts, a verbal or audio part or a visual part. I'm going fast, screenshot. Verbal hooks, basics. So first, we can have a clear stated hook. A clear stated hook is exactly what it says. You clear state in the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video what that piece of content is about or what your audience is going to get from it. Another verbal hook is making a promise. You can make a promise that by the end of your, that by the end of your piece of content, they're going to learn or achieve X, Y, and Z. Or you could do a metaphor. Take the end goal or like the actual premise of your video and relate it to a behavior. One of the amazing examples that I have of this is somebody that I used to work with. They related dental hygiene items they compared it and made a metaphor between that and quite literally football players. And it was genius. Anyways, or we could just say a bold statement, something very bold or polarizing that's just going to have your audience no choice but to simply watch the video. A lot of people use negative hooks. Negative hooks work extremely well. Here's an example of a negative hook. Let's say you are a fitness coach. I'm just throwing this out there, obviously. Instead of saying, I'm going to help you lose 10 pounds with this one workout, which is extremely good, that's a clear stated hook. But negative hooks always work better. And again, it's all depending on the brand that you want to be perceived because somebody's going to stop and watch if you say, I'm going to help you lose 10 pounds with this one workout. Somebody's going to stop and watch. Absolutely. But they're going to watch even more if you say this. You'll be fat forever if you don't stop eating donuts and start doing these Kegel workouts. Instant hook. Another one is a list. Give your audience an actual list of items, tools, and resources that you have for them. Some more is steps. Steps, literally just 3 steps to doing X, Y, and Z. Something very simple. And last but not least is competence. Let them know why you are the person they need to be listening to. Flat out. I'm pretty sure at some point in time during these last 7 days, Coach K has shown you a little bit of what she about. That's competence. That's building trust even more. People love that. People need to see it because the trust meter with social media is down because there's so many gurus nowadays that don't really know what they're talking about. All right, let's move fast. Now we have the visual hook. Visual hooks are extremely simple. Stop overcomplicating it, y'all. Please screenshot some more. First, you have a title hook. Y'all ever see those titles? And when you read the title before you even watch the video, that's a hook and you ain't even know it. You ain't even know it. Another one is a clear object. You can simply have a clear object that just represents what you're talking about, and people will look at the object before they even watch the video, hook them in. Next is a logo or a landmark. There's this thing called the familiarity complex, pretty much, with content. And that is the simple fact of they may not know you, but if you show a logo, a landmark, or a person that they already know, like, and love, they are 80 times more likely to watch your piece of content than if you didn't have it. Simple as that. So if I made a video and y'all ain't know who I was, and the video was me reacting to Coach K, but y'all know who Coach K is, you gonna watch my video because you need to see what I gotta say about Coach K. Ta-da! Next is competence once again. Show and prove. Proof. Yo, this is when people show those Stripe screenshots that you say. Are there copyright issues with any of these 3? Absolutely not, because content is free. Now, when it comes to like music, yes. But these, nope. Unless somebody try to sue you. Try not to get on nobody bad list. Next is OPC, which goes right along with logo or landmark. Other people's content. Once again, if I reacted to Coach K's videos, but you ain't know me, but you knew Coach K, you gonna watch. Simple as that. Now, for some of that to work, I'm gonna need y'all to screenshot these because I'm giving y'all some quote unquote viral hooks that I use. Now, again, y'all know I'm not a big fan of viral hooks, but we do a lot of research and these are just hooks that work. They just work. So please screenshot. Put a one in the chat when y'all done with this one. One. Bow, bow, bow. I love it. Okay. Guess what? It's more where that came from. Put a two in the chat when y'all done screenshotting this one. Two. Bow, bow. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So here's what people don't tell you. You need hooks throughout your content. Bow. Ball drop. Mic drop. You need hooks throughout your content. It's not important enough to have hooks just just at the beginning of your video. Think about it like this. Ladies in the chat, y'all gonna relate to this. Have you ever dated a man and at the beginning relationship, it was all good. He took you on dates, gave you flowers, and then 3 months later, it was like, brother, where you go? Where my dates? Where my flowers? Your audience feels the same way. Don't let them. Hook them out throughout the piece of content. Okay? Okay. That was lesson 2. I got one more for y'all. One more for y'all. I'm pressed for time, so I'm going to talk fast. Somebody said I need the second page. I got you. Bow. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Lesson number 3. Here's the things that you need within your content that are non-negotiables. Number 1 is the every 5 rule. A lot of us don't understand that our audience's attention spans aren't low. We just suck at making content. And so if you leverage the every 5 rule, we good. So here's what the every 5 rule is. The every 5 rule is within every 5 seconds of your piece of content, something different needs to happen. Your caption needs to look different. You need to have something happening on the screen. Don't nobody want to watch no documentary. They came here for pieces of content that they want to see you as an expert in. You just sitting there with no captions on the screen looking like this for 30 to 60 seconds straight. No, they don't want that. Every 5 rule keeps them engaged throughout the whole piece of content. We can leverage this alongside the hook them out throughout the piece of content. This is a version of that. So don't overthink it, y'all. Change something up. Change a scene. Change the way a caption look. Bring something on the screen. Bring a mug on. Do something. Change something up. Next, we need the 24-hour rule. Now, Jaden, hold on. You just said 5 rule. What's the 24-hour rule? The 24-hour rule is this. After you post a piece of content, allow them to be able to take action or do something with that piece of content within 24 hours. So, my fault. Here's what I mean by that. If you have a piece of content that's a how-to video, if they can't implement what you gave them in that video within 24 hours, there was no reason of you posting it. Because in the span of 24 hours, they've probably consumed hundreds of other people's pieces of content that was just like yours. So there's no reason for you to stand out now because you haven't given them anything to implement. How many times have y'all watched a piece of content from Coach K, you went and did it and it worked? Same thing, 24-hour rule. Allow your audience to take action. Allow them to understand something. Have a mindset shift from the content that you post within 24 hours. And this is all the stuff that will actually make your content worth it. So I want you to think about this, please. Your personal brand will make you some money. Your personal brand will give you access to connections. Your personal brand will give you access to capital. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Coach K. Your personal brand will do a lot for you. Go use this information that I just gave y'all. Please, for the love of God. Again, I believe in big God. For the love of God, please go use this information. Oh, and I did good on time. Y'all, usually I be yapping, y'all. Usually I be yapping and you know what I'm saying? But I did good on time today. Was that good?
Oh, this was
Okay.
phenomenal, man. Did you guys find value in this? Let me know in the chat if you got value. I was like sitting here, I'm like, man, my hooks need to be better. I'm sitting here thinking. So, are you cool if we bring up have a few people ask some
Oh
questions? Because
yeah.
they always have questions.
I eat, sleep, and breathe this all day. Bring them on.
All right, awesome, cool. I'm gonna go ahead. If you guys want to ask a question, use the hand raise feature on Zoom. Go ahead and use a little. I think it says react on the button. Go ahead and click that, and then it says raise hand, and we'll pull you up here one by one. So let's go ahead and bring up
Oh yeah.
Charlene. You're first. What's your
Hey,
question?
Charlene.
Hey, how you doing? This was phenomenal, man. So
Hey.
many breakthroughs for me. But my biggest question is, I've heard people talk about the vulnerability of it, and I wanted to know what your thought process is on that. Does that help or in
I think
conversion?
it helps immensely.
Ooh,
Being able to be vulnerable with your audience is like it's like a gold mine. For example, without it being too close, right? Without your audience feeling too close to you and that best friend, you want them to be able to relate to you though. You want them to be able to be like, this person understands a struggle that I may have. This person has been where I want to go already. You need to be able to be vulnerable. Now, there's a difference between telling them all your life struggles and again treating them as if they are your best friends, because then we're gonna go right back to that path that we don't want to be in. There's a difference between that and being like, listen, y'all, I was broke before, I struggle with this, but it's okay because it's a pathway out of it.
I guess what I'm struggling with is how do I turn it into a 24-hour rule or, like
You
what's
turn it
the,
into a 24-hour rule because here's what you can do. Oh, I don't know if my thing froze. Let me know. Can y'all see me?
We can hear you. We can't see you,
Okay, hold on,
but
let
you're
me
good.
see. Okay, I don't know why it's tripping. Anyway, so what you can do is allow your vulnerability to turn into lessons. Again, use that internal content, principles, frameworks, lessons, strategies. These are things that you want your content to convey. And you could do that through vulnerability.
awesome? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What up, Cornell?
Thanks for this information. It's been amazing. I'm old school. I'll turn 61 next week. And on top of that, I used to have to police this on the job to keep people from doing this kind of stuff. So it's a mind shift that I'm trying to go
Yeah,
through.
absolutely.
Where's the starting point in terms of equipment? Do I use my phone? Do I buy cameras? Where's the starting place? Just using the phone
Just like
and
this.
teleprompting. Okay,
Just
this is
like this.
just
I call it FaceTime style content. That's what I call it. I call it FaceTime style content. And what it means is create content as if you're on the phone.
ah.
Talk to your ideal viewer as if they are here. And don't shift that mindset when you get a big camera. I get people all the time that's like, yo, all right, I got this camera. I'm done using my phone. How do I record content better? No, no, no. We're using the same mentalities. Act as if the camera is the ideal person that you are speaking to.
Awesome. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much, Jaden. Appreciate it. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Who next?
Awesome, Johnny. You're back up.
What's up, my brother? Once
What's
again,
up?
Coach K over delivers. Man, you know how many thousands of dollars I spent? I'm doing AI training, I'm doing SEO training, and man, you were so simple and pissed off, man. I should give you all my money, brother. But anyway, got a question for you. Do you
Hmm.
suggest certain platforms, or is there a sequence to posting on certain platforms? You had Instagram, TikTok, so what do you suggest, my brother?
Here's what I say. Rest in peace, TikTok in the future, because TikTok might get banned. So please don't put all your eggs in that basket, just in case it do get banned. That's one note. If you are still going to post on TikTok, here's what I recommend. If you're going to post on TikTok multiple times per day, if you're going to post on Instagram, you can get away with 5 a week. You can really get away with 4 a week. Would I recommend that? No. I recommend on Instagram once a day. On YouTube, I recommend 1 to 2 times a week. Really, once a week is perfect, beyond perfect. But 1 to 2 times a week is also great. Those are the three main platforms I recommend. Obviously, I pair Instagram with Facebook because they basically cousins now because they under the same roof.
Yeah.
Um, so that's truthfully how I think of that. In terms of which platforms I would recommend, I don't know if I'm just biased. I would always recommend YouTube.
Wow.
Now, here's what I will say. YouTube is just the king platform. The issue with YouTube, there's one big caveat with YouTube. It takes longer to grow. So I usually, 9 times out of 10, that was my once out of 10 recommendation. 9 times out of 10, I will always recommend Instagram. Here's why. Instagram is the best of both worlds between TikTok and YouTube.
Got it.
It gives you some longevity. It gives you the expertiseness of what YouTube stands for. But then it also gives you the ability to grow your audience quickly and monetize it quickly, like TikTok.
Got it.
So I like that middle path. Now, again, if you're thinking I want one platform to stay on forever, YouTube all day long. But if you're like, listen, I really need to get started with everything, Instagram, please.
Thank you, my
Does
brother.
having a blue check give you more credibility? I would think so. Truthfully, yes. Pay for it. $14 a month.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome.
All right, let's do two or three more. We got Kim, and then I'm gonna bring up Angela.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, thank you so much. You made this really easy
Thank you.
because I am someone who does not know anything about what you're talking about. But you made it sound so simple. So my question is, for someone who does not know, is not familiar with all the words, and how do you get started, I guess, in doing what you say?
First, what I told Cornell,
Mhm.
phone, FaceTime style content. It's the
Mhm.
easiest to do. I call it less friction. Because the
Okay.
more friction you have to even create a post in the first place, it's going to end up real bad. It's going to start bad and it's going to end bad. So
Mhm.
first, FaceTime style
Okay.
content, point blank period. That's number one. Number
Okay.
two, in terms of what content to make, automatically think back to, okay, if I was, well, excuse me, usually most of us here were already past where our target audience is.
Mhm.
So right now in this place, we thinking about our target audience. 9 times out
Mhm.
of 10, we've already been there.
Right.
So what I do is I always think back to when I was in that position of where my target audience is, and I think about what they need. Yo, when I
Okay.
was back then, what did I need? What was I really looking for? What could have really helped me?
Okay.
That's the content I make first.
Okay.
And
Got it.
I'll keep it that simple, truthfully.
Okay. Well, I can do that.
Yes, ma'am. Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Angela.
Hi. So my question is,
Mhm.
um, what do you have a specific platform or tool that you would recommend, like Hootsuite, Metrical, or just scheduling, how to schedule these? Because my content looks like that scattered calendar you
Yeah.
showed. And to be more consistent, I need to have something where I can schedule things in bulk. What do you recommend?
I use later. So here's why. Number one, they had a major update, thank God, because at first it was horrible. Later is one of the few scheduling tools that actually don't hurt when you schedule using the third party app. I used to use Hootsuite.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped because unfortunately I found out through the grapevine that it kind of hurts when you use Hootsuite, unfortunately. I know. I love me some Hootsuite. I was like, yo, this is the crack of all scheduling tools. But unfortunately, it hurts you.
What do you mean it hurts?
So Hootsuite is a third-party app, right? Scheduling tools are third party.
Mm-hmm.
Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, they selfish. So they want you to use the platform as much as possible. And so when it identifies that you use a third-party platform to do certain things, it'd be like, what you doing? Nuh-uh. And so unfortunately, Hootsuite fall into that category as of right now. Now,
Okay.
this could change in about a week. This could change in about a month, 2 years. But right now, it ain't looking too well for Hootsuite. But it's still a great Hootsuite is amazing. But it's
Mm,
later, later.com.
okay. Okay.
So that's what I use right now. And it shows you some good analytics.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who next?
Benjamin, what's up?
What up?
Hey, so based on a lot of stuff you were saying, it seems like it's for businesses where, I guess you're teaching something or a product. So I'm in a
Oh
service
no.
business. How does that, how would I tie that into like my service? So I do junk removal and dumpster
For
rentals.
everybody who has a service-based business, please listen. The content that you need to be posting needs to be the content about what your audience cares about. Your ideal client, what do they care about? For example, junk removal stuff. What do they care about? Yo, what? And again, I don't know if this is exactly what they care about, but there's an example because I ain't in your industry.
Clutter. They care about mess in the garage. They want to get it gone.
Right, cool. They care about how fast does it take, well, excuse me, how long does it take for you between the time you come here? How fast is your team? Cool. What are different types of services? We need to be making content about what they actually care about. So for example, somebody says, I'm a massage therapist. What is the difference between different massages? Cool. We need to be making that type of content. We need to be making content. What are all the questions that they ask when they come and book with you? What are those questions? Let's write down those. Let's get into the mindset because, again, if we're making content for our ideal audience, why are we not thinking as our ideal audience? So, for you to answer your question without like going in a circle, I would personally write down as many questions as I possibly can about, yo, here's what my audience thinks about, or excuse me, when somebody calls me on my phone and try to figure out, yo, can you come and get this stuff out my garage? What are the questions that they are asking besides money? They'll figure out money later. But everything else, what are these questions that they're asking me? Make content about those. It works. For example, when I used to have an agency, like a done for you agency, I would just make content about everything that people were asking me and it would get clients every day of the week. Because now my content is like a FAQ list. Now my content is what salespeople call objection handling. So every reason that they have not to buy from me, I've already made that disappear.
Okay.
Did that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, everybody give it up for Mr. Jaden Young. Everybody put thank you in the chat. Put thank you. Listen, I told you guys, this individual loves to serve. He's phenomenal at what he does and what he teaches. So, Jaden, where can they follow you on social? We gotta plug the social.
Thank you. I would recommend Instagram. I'm the most active on Instagram. And so like if y'all DM me with a question, I'll actually reply sometimes. Instagram at I am Jaden LY. IAMJADENLY. That's my Insta. That's also my TikTok. But again, don't go to my TikTok. And yeah, that's where I'm on there. I'm
Awesome.
always serving. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Everybody put thank you again in the chat. Jaden, have a great day, brother. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us.
Absolutely. Y'all
We
have
do
a
appreciate it, y'all. But listen, can you believe this is not even the end? You guys want us to end? You guys cool? You guys want us to go home or you want more? I don't know. You just let us know in the chat. Do you want more? Do you want us to keep going? More. Okay. Now we have a couple minutes before our next speaker. So we're gonna do a giveaway. You guys you want to win some cash? Anybody want a chance to win some moolah? All right, so here we go. This is what we're gonna do. This one's a little different. I don't think we've ever actually did this before, but I'm gonna do it now. All right. So this is what's gonna happen. We would love to know. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay. We would love to know how your experience in the community is. Do we have any, there's some people from the public watching. How many business and grant community members do we have in the room? If you're part of the community, I just want you to drop the word fam in the chat. If you're part of the community, I just want you to put fam in the chat. Oh, we got a lot of people in here. I like that. I like that. So we did let a few of our free community members in here, like people that aren't in the community in today. So what we're actually going to do is we would love to hear, for those of you all that are a part of the family and are a part of the community, we want to hear your wins. We want to hear a testimonial from you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drop a link. And for the next 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to take a break. Don't leave out the Zoom because we got 2 more speakers that can blow your mind. But what I want you to do instead is we're going to give you all the chance to leave an honest review for Coach K. And anybody who leaves a review, we're going to pick and put you in a wheel of names for a chance to win $100 cash right here, right now in 5 minutes. All right. Is that cool? So this is all you have to do. This is super easy, super easy. I'm going to drop this here. If you want to go ahead and leave us a review, let me pause the chat if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to drop this link in the chat and you just click it and it's going to go ask you to do a testimonial. All right. Let me see if I can pause the chat for a second. There we go. So I just paused the chat. So go ahead and click the link. Go leave a review about the community. Coach doesn't even know we're doing this, y'all. So I want to surprise Coach with this. She's in the room, so she knows about it now. But I'm going to surprise it. I'm going to send her all these in like a spreadsheet. I'm going to send all the videos. But you can go on here, and I'll show you what this looks like, you all. You can go and, where'd that go? 1 second. You can actually go in there, and it'll just literally, you can do a video or you can do a text testimonial. So check this out. All you're going to do is go here. You could choose if you want to do a video like on your phone, which I recommend, or you can do it via text and just let us know what you love about the community. We even have some prompts here. What were you struggling with before you joined the community? How has the community helped you in your organization, right? So we got 4 to 5 minutes. We're going to take just a breather for a second. Don't leave the room, but we're going to take a breather before our next speaker comes. We're going to do a $100 giveaway in just a moment. All right. Man, you guys are too fast. We already got people coming in and doing this, y'all. This is crazy. I just got a notification. You just got a testimonial. I see Roderick Johnson just submitted. Roderick, shout out to you. You didn't win the $100, but I'll put you in the drawing for sure. Put you in the drawing for sure. If you're on YouTube, I'll drop the link as well. If you're watching, if you're part of the community and you're on YouTube, I just dropped the link so you all can get access there. All right, and after you leave your review, just put the word done in the chat. Let me see. Once you've done it, put done in the chat. And you got 5 minutes, so take some time, put some thought into it. Put some thoughts into it. All right, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video. Give me about 3 minutes. I'm going to play a quick video just for you guys, and then I'll be right back, okay? So right after this video, we will go ahead and get started with our next guest speaker.
All right, guys, check this out. So, if you're looking to rebuild your credit, if you got some blemishes on your credit report, I advise you to check out Coach K. I started with Coach K about a year ago, and she has really been able to just elevate my personal credit score. And even more than that, she really has a passion. She cares about her clients. And on top of all of that, she does business credit as well. So if you're looking to start your own business, she can give you all the resources that you need to build your business credit score, to attain grants, and just anything else that you need to do. So just check her out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed by using her services. So anyway, check out Coach K, best in the business.
Hello, my name is Katana and I am the founder and CEO of Friends Craft & Co. And I just want to say how awesome and how truly blessed I am to be able to work with Coach K. She makes everything super easy. The community, the Facebook group, everything is listed in there. Easy to find, so many resources, as well as the community that she has built, which everyone should go ahead and join. She also posts thousands of grants. And with her posting those grants, she posts grants that are easy to apply to. Being in her group, I've learned how to make my grants, my business stand out, my grant proposal stand out from the rest. And I have been able to apply for over $100,000 in grants. And recently she posted the Skip grant. She posted it about the website. I went on, set up my account, which was super easy. Probably took no more than 5 to 10 minutes, especially if you already have your grant proposal and answers for any grant questions that they may have asked. And she sent a reminder probably 2 hours before the grant meeting started. And it put it in my mind, okay, I need to make sure I get on this YouTube live because it was on live. And I was able to remember and hop on the live. And I was won the $1,000 grant with Skip, all because of Coach K providing this information to us. So I am super thankful and forever indebted with Coach K. Thank you.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name is MJ Johnson. I'm coming to you real quick just to give you a quick review of my experience with Quinta, Coach K. I've been a business owner for about 10 years now, and I got to a spot back in 2019 where I was really crushed for cash. I had a lot of different things going on, and being as somebody that always pulls money out of my pocket to finance my own business, I never took the time to explore my opportunity with business credit or anything like that. And so when I was introduced to Quinta, she was able to get me signed up and take me to my NAV profile, something I've never seen before, and really explore it with me and help me to understand the ins and outs of what I need to do to get my credit to where I want it to be, so that I was able to have access to tons of funding. So I was able to get a number of different credit cards and lines of credit that really helped smooth out the process of my day-to-day financing to operate my company. And so Quinta is an exceptional option to go with if you are new to business or if you're in a seasoned business owner. She's definitely an awesome resource to have to help get you pointed in the right direction.
All right, y'all. Well, I am back. I still see tons of people working on it. I'm getting notifications like crazy. So this is what I'm going to do. You all wrap up those testimonials, and we have 2 more speakers. We have Nick getting ready to come up, and then we have another individual as well. What I'm going to do between Nick and the next speaker, we're going to announce the $100. All right, just to be fair, because I'm getting notifications second by second that you guys are still working on it. So if you're typing something out, you're doing a video, don't rush it. We'll come back. We're going to do the $100 giveaway in about 35 minutes, okay? So today, the next speaker, what we're going to do is I want to introduce you all to one of our partners, which is Primm Corporate Services. We use Primm for all of our LLC creation. We also use Primm for some of our tax structuring. And they have a great products suite that you all can use and tap into to help your business grow and get, situated the right way. But today, they brought Nick in, and Nick's going to be here with us talking about tax strategies for entrepreneurs, right? So a lot of y'all who has a business, you're a for-profit. Put that's me in the chat. Put that's me in the chat if you are a for-profit business. Awesome. So Nick is going to be here with Primm. They're going to talk about some strategies you can implement this year to kind of just set yourself up for success and ultimately to maybe cut the amount you have to pay Uncle Sam just a little bit. So Nick, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, brother. So excited you're here in the room with us. The floor is yours for the next 35 minutes or so.
Appreciate it, Michael. Welcome, everybody. Nick Bulis, Primm Corporate Services. It's a pleasure to be here. And Michael's definitely right. What we're going to do today is make sure that you guys all have an understanding how to what we call mitigate your taxes with some of the lowest hanging tax strategies that we find to be available to us. Now, first and foremost, what I want to do is also just make sure that you all have a very good understanding who we are here at Primm Corporate Services. So we have 3 different hats here, right? So we have attorneys. That's who oversees the, roughly speaking, about 65,000 corporate structures that we do on an annual basis. Everything from LLCs, S Corp, C Corp, you name it, every type of corporate structure under the sun, we do. And that will be a vocal point as to what it is that we're going to be discussing today. We also have financial advisors. Most individuals aren't aware of this, but we actually have 2 federally sanctioned credit profiles, right? We have our personal FICO credit profile, and we can also establish a corporate credit profile. So we're going to make sure that you all have an understanding how to get away from being the personal bank to your business. And then also CPAs, right? We do about 20,000 tax returns on an annual basis, personal taxes, business taxes, corporate taxes, you name it, anything tax related we do. So we will touch base on all three topics today. However, the vocal point is going to primarily speaking going to be around making sure that you all have the proper corporate structure in place that assures that you have the max asset protection, the max tax advantages, and the max privatization. Right. So we're going to get you all up to speed with the tax reform. We're going to make sure that you all have a very good understanding what's changed with the tax code and how those changes directly affect sectors of self-employment. And then, as I mentioned, we'll shed light on legal and financial liability, specifically in regards to your corporate structures. But all in all, relatively simple webinar that we have in store today. And with that being said, let's dive right into it. And as I mentioned, first things first is the tax reform. So everything that we're going to be discussing today is predicated off the tax reform. So as of January 1, 2018, Tax Cuts and Job Acts was implemented, and it's the most recent tax reform. Now, the biggest change with the tax code, we no longer have the ability to offset our tax liability with tax deductible expenses operating in self-employment sectors as an individual. Okay, if that makes sense, great. You know, it's a huge change. And then if it doesn't at the exact moment, it most definitely will by the end of the webinar. Okay, now, as I mentioned, legal and financial is what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to start on the legal side of things. And what it is that we're going to be discussing is a specific type of business entity. More particular than that is a specific type of LLC. Okay, so if everybody wants to write down a holding company, okay, so this is the very, very top of your corporate hierarchy. Now, I have a quick question for everybody. If I can just get a response in the chat, please. If you currently have a pre-existing corporate structure, so that means if you have an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, if you currently have a corporate structure, put a 1 in the chat if you do. And then if you do not have a pre-existing corporate structure, put a 2 in the chat. So 1 if you do, 2 if you do not. Right, so if you have an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, if you have any type of business entity, put a 1. And then if you do not, put a 2. Okay, very good. So there's a good portion of you that do have corporate structures. Now, with that being said, everything that we're going to be discussing today, whether you do have a pre-existing corporate structure or you don't, it does not change the applicability nor the importance in regards to anything it is that we're discussing today. Okay, so once again, we're going to start on the holding company. This is at the very, very top of your corporate hierarchy. Now, what a holding company is an LLC that is structured out of one of our 4 haven states. Now, what the 4 haven states are: Alaska, Nevada, Wyoming, and Delaware. Alaska, Nevada, Wyoming, Delaware. Now, the reason why they're referred to as haven states, they're the most corporate-friendly states in the country. They have the most corporate-friendly bylaws. Now, there's 3 advantages of these corporate bylaws, right? If you just want to jot down numbers 1, 2, and 3. So number 1, write down max asset protection. Okay, max asset protection. So because of these corporate bylaws, you literally cannot have any better asset protection than you do out of one of these 4 states. So number 1 is max asset protection. Number 2, write down max tax advantages. So these are all 0 income tax states. We're also going to elaborate in great depths in regards to the holding company's operating agreement and the different tax functionalities that consists of. So number 2 is max tax advantages. And then number 3, write down max privatization. So the haven states are referred to as privatization states. Now, what that means is it's not public record who the members of the entity are. Okay, so it gives you the maximum anonymity. So at the very, very top of your corporate hierarchy, you have your operational holding company that gives you the max asset protection, the max tax advantages, and the max privatization. And then from that point, as you progress with your business endeavors, you diversify, you acquire assets, eventually you're going to have other LLCs in place that are owned by the holding company. Okay, the LLCs that are owned by the holding company are referred to as subsidiary LLCs. And all subsidiary means is plain and simple, it's a corporate structure that's owned by a holding company. Now, the reason why you do your corporate hierarchy in this capacity is it kills as many birds with one stone as necessary. Just for the very simple fact, every LLC that is now owned by the holding company now inherently has the max asset protection, the max tax advantages, and the max privatization. Right? Once again, it kills as many birds with one stone as necessary. Now, for those of you that already have a pre-existing corporate structure, it just falls underneath the new holding company, and poof, it now consists of those advantages. Okay, so that's what we're going to be discussing today is your operational holding LLC. Do the other LLCs have to be registered in the Haven state? No. So the subsidiary LLCs, rule of thumb, are going to be out of the state where you have a revenue generating asset or where you have your operational business. Right? But no, the subsidiary LLCs are out of wherever you're conducting your business out of. All right, now we're going to start on very, very ground level. Okay, bear with me in the beginning. It might be a little bit redundant for a few of you, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page from top to bottom. There is a handful of individuals that have no corporate structure in place. So first and foremost, the acronym LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Now, the very first element in which the LLC does is it legitimizes. It's the legalization that you started a business. Simple concept. Would also like to think that the vast majority, if not probably all of you, would assume that's what the LLC would do right out of the gate, right? Legalize. Reason I bring it up and I emphasize it is the tax reform, right? State and federal government bodies, they clearly want self-employment sectors sanctioned and bounded by law. So right out of the gate, legalization. The fundamental function of the LLC, if anything, this is probably what you're all familiar with. If you want to write down separation and protection, or if you want to get technical about it, write down corporate veil of protection. So LLC separates, protects you and all your personal assets from any type of liability associated from the business. So that is the fundamentals of every LLC right there. Very first element, legalization, fundamental function, separation and protection. Now, why Coach K has us come do these live webinars, as well as where LLCs differentiate from one another, is the operating agreement. Okay, the operating agreement's the structure of the LLC. That's how you reap specific benefits and recognition. That's really what's of importance. And that's what we're going to be diving into now are the functions of the holding company's operating agreement. All right, on the same page so far, so good. Utilize your chat, utilize your audio. Now, the reason why the tax status is so critical is that's what gets you the legal credit of the endeavor as well of the arena of business in which you're a part. If you want to jot this down as well. So you now have up to 250 different tax deductible business expenses. And we will send everybody out the complete list of all the different sanctioned expenses. But just to give you an example of a few, all your home-based expenses like internet bills, phone bills, power bills. As long as you have internet connection, you're in a viable position to be operating the business, gas, mileage, all tax deductible. And once again, we will send everybody out the complete list of all the different sanctioned expenses. Now, this next function, for whatever it's worth, in my personal opinion, without a doubt, the most important function of all. If everybody wants to write down pass-through function. And I do have a couple questions that have come in. If I don't stop in the live time and elaborate on them, by no means does that mean that I'm just bypassing them. All it means is that it's better served to be elaborated on when I open it up at the end for a Q&A. Right, but keep the questions coming. Now, I have another quick question for everybody, and if I can just get a response in the chat, please. If you are currently generating income outside of a business endeavor, so that means if you have conventional W-2, if you have 1099 independent contractor employment, retirement, if you are generating income outside of a self-employment business endeavor, put a 1 in the chat if you are, and then if you are not generating income outside of a self-employment business endeavor, put a 2. So 1 if you are, 2 if you are not. Right, and then thank you for some of those quick correspondences. And then based off these responses, 10 times more important is this tax function. So I'm going to give you all the by the book definition first, and then I'll come back, break it down in a way that I find to be a little bit easier to conceptualize. So The pass-through function allows you to legally offset your gross taxable income with all of your business's tax deductible expenses. Let's simplify. Let's cut out the verbiage. If you just want to write down, apply all deductions against all income. Apply all deductions against all income. So that is exactly what this function allows you to do. So you're now able to apply all of your new business deductions. Once again, those 250 different max portion deductions that you have with your holding company, not just against the income that you're generating from your self-employment business endeavors, but against your overall gross taxable income across the board, right? Including against the income that you're all respectively generating with whichever reason it is that you referenced a 1 in the chat, against your W-2, 1099, retirement. If you're married, filing jointly against your spouse's income, against all income. So huge benefit on a personal level, right? If you were to really think about the holding company's tax functionalities, just analytically, it could be nothing more than a legal tax shelter for any and all of your personal sources of income. In simplest terms, it gives you additional tax deductions to apply against all sources of income that you would not have the ability of taking without. Right? Even really more so than just that. And sorry, I just lost my slide somehow. Even really more so than just that, where many of you actually have the most to gain this very moment from the holding company's tax functionalities is with your personal sources of income. Okay, and let me put some context behind that statement as well as the slide that you're all about to be looking at here again. I apologize, I actually clicked one of my tabs. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so as I mentioned, to put a little bit of context behind the slide that you're all looking at, as well as that statement that I just made around the legal tax shelter. Okay, so this is an example of an individual who grosses $65,000 a year of personal income. Okay, of personal income, whether this income is W-2, 1099, retirement, it makes absolutely zero difference, but $65,000 a year of personal income. And this individual does not have an LLC that consists of these functions, does not. So with that being said, Uncle Sam comes in, takes at minimum 26%. In other words, the IRS comes in and takes a little over $13,000 away from this individual every year in the form of taxes. Okay, next example. It's the exact same individual, $65,000 a year of personal income. However, this individual does have a holding company that consists of these functions, and they're able to get their tax liability down to a little bit under $8,000. It saves this individual, roughly speaking, $5,500 a year on their personal taxes. Right? Adds up quick. That's 1 year, right? Compounded over the next 5 years. Right? Take it even one step further. You're all essentially making money with your business endeavors right out of the gate, and regardless, just by the amount of money that you're saving on your personal taxes. Right, so pass-through function, all deductions against all income, very critical. Jill, correct. Yes, you have to have an LLC that consists of the pass-through function. Correct. Great question. Another great question is, Nick, do I have to make money with a business endeavor to qualify for these advantages? No, this is not a performance-based concept. This is not a performance-based concept. Matter of fact, I actually personally think that it's easier to make the case that the holding company's tax functions are actually of more importance and of more value if you look at it with the glass half empty. Right? Let's do just that. So let's say worst case scenarios happen and you're unable to monetize with a business endeavor. Worst case scenarios. Well, if that were to be the case, 10 times more important is the holding company at this point, just for the simple fact that's really when you want to be recouping your investments come tax season, right? That's really when you'd want to be applying your new 250 different tax deductible expenses against your personal sources of income, your W-2, your 1099, your retirement, your spouse's income, your personal sources of income to create that legal tax shelter, right? As I mentioned, make sure you make money with your business endeavors. In all reality, regardless of how you actually fare with your business endeavors, right? AKA your personal tax savings. Right? And I'll also make sure that you guys have an understanding how this will actually come into play for your 2024 income. All right. Now, pass-through function works in two capacities. So we understand how it benefits you on a personal level with all of your other sources of income. Also works vice versa. By having other sources of income also protects your business investments. Okay, and let's dive into that, starting with initial investments that you've outlaid with training courses, softwares, subscriptions, newsletters, anything that falls in the realm of outside education. So the type of investments I'm exclusively talking on, training courses, software, subscriptions, newsletters. Okay, so these investments are by default categorized by the IRS as educational expenses. By default, categorized by IRS as education. So IRS thinks one of two things have transpired. So they think that the individuals, Sonia or Veta, David, everybody here, either decided to go back to school and you're not going through an accredited university, or you have upwards of a $1,000 to $10,000+ hobby on your hands, right? Indifferent to them, personal expenditure. Let's bring the tax code full circle one last time. No longer do we have the ability to itemize as an individual. So I do emphasize this just because personally find it to be of the more critical on the tax side of things. But with the holding company, these investments are all now 100% tax deductible as a legal business startup expense. 100% tax deductible as a legal business startup expense. Okay, that's why we do these live webinars with you when we do. So regardless with how you fare with your business endeavors, initial investments pursuing self-employment are protected. Right? Most importantly, you've got the proper recognition for what they are. Right? And also keep in mind, that's not just a tax deductible expense that you're itemizing. That's a 100% provision. Right? You want these investments coming back to you come tax season regardless. Okay, now the last function that I want to touch base on with the holding company on the corporate structure side of things before we briefly transition to the financial side of things is compliance. Okay, earning and obtaining your business compliance. So we obtain your EIN number that's associated with your LLC. Okay, that's what gets you the legal credit of the sector. Okay, all of your different banks, lenders, financial institutions require that this has been obtained. So that's something that we get for you as part of your holding LLC is your EIN and your compliance. And that is everything that goes into the holding company right there. It sounded like it resonated with you all well. I'm going to open it up for a quick Q&A before we transition, and then I'll explain to you what Coach K has in place for all of you before we hop off here. But before we transition, let's open it up for a few questions. Let me get caught up on a couple of these questions. Okay, great question. This is Tammy, and there's been a few other individuals that have asked a similar type of question. Nick, is there any way that I can still get credit for the different investments and expenses that I've made in 2024 and prior to having the holding company prior? So yes, absolutely. So we do a retroactive intent date on the LLC that by default allows you to capture all investments and expenses for the complete calendar year of 2024 from a tax deductibility standpoint. So yes, everything by default is in play for the complete calendar year of 2024 from a tax deductibility standpoint. The caveat to that, well, Nick, with that being said, is there assistance that you can then give me for different investments and expenses that I made in prior years, right? 2023 and so forth. So yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel for all of you as well. Right, so just to fill everybody in a little bit on this front, as I mentioned, we do about 20,000 plus tax returns on an annual basis. We have in-house CPAs. I personally think that it's a very good idea to get an understanding how we recommend you start keeping records, itemizing, above all, what to expect as far as returns go. It's a critical year for all of you from a taxation standpoint. You have all these new deductions, you have big startup provisions, you have other sources of income. Bottom line is you all have a ton to gain, and I want you to know what to expect. So we will set you up with a consultation to speak to one of them at some point. Right, we did one little math example that would be saving just about every single person in here at minimum about $5,000 on their personal taxes just by assuring that you have the proper corporate structure in place. And I do see a lot of you with the hands up. I'm going to go through the questions that were initially sent in, and then we will call on some of these individuals that have their hands up. How do I know if my LLC has the pass-through function? So somewhat ambiguous to a certain extent, just for the very simple fact there's 70,000 pages of the tax code that's flooded with different tax functions and different tax provisions. Needless to say, there's a lot of methodologies and different ways to go about structuring an LLC. Right? LLCs are not all created equally, right? The way that you want to think about it is I use the analogy of it being a vehicle, right? So an LLC is the car, right? It's a four-door sedan car. Not all four-door sedan cars are built the same. You can have a race car, you can have a luxury car, you can have a car that barely gets around the road. Same concept with your LLC, right? The fundamental vehicle is this: legalization and separation of protection. Where the LLC actually becomes a value and where they differentiate from one another is all based off the operating agreement. That's why you can see an LLC for a state filing fee, and you can also see an LLC that's $5,000 that has every different type of tax function under the sun. Right. But we'll make sure that you all have the proper corporate structure in place. So with confidence, you know exactly what it consists of, and you can confidently speak to knowing that it has max asset protection, max tax advantages, and max privatization. The biggest thing that I really want to get across today is if you do not have a holding company that's out of a haven state with a holding company operating agreement, plain simple, you do not have max asset protection, max tax advantages, and max privatization. So the goal today is to assure at the very least you all have the proper corporate structure in place that does give you those advantages. All right, great questions. And let me get caught up on a few of these. So Arvetta, I answered that. So it's a retroactive start date. So everything will be in play for 2024. Our in-kind services, tax deductible. My mom is a massage nurse. All receiving. So the 250 different tax deductible expenses are very encompassing, right? So we will send you out the complete list of the different sanctioned expenses. But yes, most of the time, your in-kind services are tax deductible. You do need a separate EIN, right? The EIN is tied to the NAICS code that's tied to your LLC that gives you everything it is that we're discussing. So yes, you do need another EIN number. My startup is a C Corp in Delaware. So I think is it Yunshi? Absolutely, right? Definitely you want a holding company, even that much more important. I'd probably say if you have a bunch of shareholders, which it looks like you do, based off of having a C Corp. I don't know if that's a C Corp or an S Corp. If you have massive amount of shareholders, then a C Corp could make sense. If you're running a day-to-day operational business, C Corp, everybody never, right? You can't avoid double taxation with the C Corp. How a C Corp fundamentally works from a taxation standpoint, you're taxed on 100% of the income that your business generates on the corporate tax level, and you have to pay yourself out a minimum distribution of 35%, where you're then taxed on all 35% of that on the personal tax bracket, right? So C Corps are meant for a large amount of shareholders, big business conglomerates, a lot of times in raising capital as well to Yunshi, but not for day-to-day operational business. And I'm going to share a link here in a second, and I'll explain to you all here in a moment what we have in place. Thank you, Michael. BOI, thank you for D Good. for asking that question. Again, it was somebody that asked this earlier, and I kind of bypassed it, and I'm glad that you resurfaced it. So for those of you that have pre-existing corporate structure, you've probably somewhat been hearing the somewhat fear mongering that's been going on by the federal government in all of 2024 about the new federal compliance that's required, or I should say was required, the Corporate Transparency Act, right? The Corporate Transparency Act was implemented January 1 of 2024. And what it required at the time was every business owner had to submit what's called a BOI report, Beneficial Ownership Information Report. There has been a federal freeze to that bylaw. So that is no longer a thing as of right now. Okay. So I don't foresee it coming back, right? Just for the simple fact, Trump has been rather against it from the very, very beginning. And the simple fact that they put a freeze to it right before the end of the year, I don't foresee them reenacting it. Now, with that being said, if you do get your corporate structures with us, not only will you obviously be notified, but we also ended up during the 2024 year dedicating millions of dollars to a resource that would actually give you access to a portal that would submit all of your information for you. So it's a really slick portal, somewhat catch-22 in the sense that it's probably not going to be something that's actually in place moving forward. But if it ends up coming back, for those of you that do get your corporate structures through us, it will be a very seamless, efficient way for you to submit your BOI report just based off of us doing your LLC. But as of right now, that is not applicable. That's not a thing. There's been a freeze to it, right? And once again, we will, of course, keep everybody up to speed on that, but not a thing right now. No, Cornell. So you don't need a foreign entity to have a holding company. So what you have to have is called a registered agent. And let me hop around here real quick. So what it is that you have to have is called a registered agent, right? And we are fortunate enough to have a registered agent in every single state. So we can literally structure an LLC anywhere. Okay. But a registered agent accommodates two factors. So factor number one is physical location. So in order to have an LLC, you actually have to have a physical location in that state. So as I mentioned, we are fortunate enough to have one in every state. So I can structure an LLC anywhere. Right now, for those of you that are setting up holding companies, give you a little bit of a teaser before you have the opportunity to speak to my corporate advisor. Wyoming's the state that you want to do it out of. Reason being, it's the cheapest, right? From a corporate standpoint, the haven states are identical, right? So there's no advantage to go from Alaska to Nevada to Wyoming to Delaware, right? They're identical from a corporate standpoint. So obviously, let's just be cost effective and go with the cheapest, which is Wyoming. The second facet of the registered agent is privatization. Right. So in order to keep all of your personal information anonymous, like your name, your home address, email, phone number, etc., in order to keep all of your personal information anonymous, you have to have a registered agent. Right. So long story short, in order to have an LLC that gives you the max asset protection, the max tax advantages, and the max privatization, you have to have a registered agent. Suzaline asked, what's the difference between an LLC and an S Corp? So great question. I get asked this question all the time. It's probably also the most commonly misunderstood concept, right? LLC versus S Corp. So everybody keep in mind, LLCs and S Corps are identical entities. An S Corp is an LLC with a different tax selection, right? If you actually really want to get granular about it, an S Corp's real name is a subchapter S LLC, right? It's an LLC with an S Corp tax selection. So the only question that you ask yourself as to whether you want your LLC to be taxed as an LLC or is it to be taxed as an S Corp? One question only. Income. Okay, if your business is netting, not grossing, if your business is netting $75,000+ a year, there's going to be a tax advantage to doing the S Corp tax selection. There'll be a tax advantage. If you're not netting 75 plus $1,000 with the business, that S Corp tax election will actually be a detriment to you from a taxation standpoint, right? So you make up your mind as to whether you want to do the S Corp tax election when you go to file your taxes based off of nothing more than income, right? I don't recommend ever starting with it unless you're already starting to earn that threshold of income, just for the very simple fact, once you do the S Corp election, there's no going back, and it's only a value based off of a certain income threshold, right? And it can also be done whenever. It's free. It's called a 2553 form for those of you that are taking notes. It's called a 2553 form to do the S Corp tax election. That's something that we do for you guys as well, for free. And then how the tax advantages work is with an S Corp, your self-employment tax is cut in half. Right. So it goes from 16% to 8%. But the reason why it's not just like a black and white, no matter what value, you also have payroll taxes. Right. So it's really just based off of an income threshold is what's going to dictate whether or not that's a value or not for you. But that's how that works, Susan. All right. Great question. So no, Shelly, they've gone back and forth in the past 2 weeks of it like be reenacted and then froze and then reenacted then froze. Right now there is a federal freeze on the BOI report. If you want to do it for precautionary purposes, feel free. But as of right now, there is a federal freeze. Right, something that we're very, very much in tune with, just because we have to be based off of 300 plus thousand pre-existing clients that have been structured with entities. So very, very much so in tune with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, Nick, let's go ahead and talk about how they can go ahead and, talk about the services offline, because there's a bunch of people DMing us saying, hey, what does that look like? So I believe we have a complimentary call they can schedule. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you for interjecting before I just got up here rambling during your guys' whole
No, you're cool. We got another speaker, so and we have tons of people asking us, so I want to make sure.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
how long is that call? Like, what do you guys go through on that call so we can go ahead and set expectations?
Yeah, so what Coach Kate and Michael have worked out with us is a really, really awesome process, right? So they've covered a consultation for one of you guys to speak to our corporate advisor. So it's an hour-long one-on-one consultation that will be held via Zoom. Okay, now the topics that they're going to be discussing are going to be a lot of what it is that we just got done going over with your corporate structures and assuring that you all have the proper corporate structure to assure that you have max asset protection, max tax advantages, max privatization. The second part of that hour-long consultation will be dedicated to the financial side of the spectrum and making sure that you all have an understanding how to get away from being the personal banks to your businesses and understand how to build a corporate credit profile. Not only build it, but make sure that you understand how to build it in a very expedited period of time. So those are going to be the two topics they discuss on that initial business consultation. For those of you that already have corporate structures and you don't think that you're in need for those, still book an appointment, because you also have access to a tax advisor, which they'll take you through a tax consultation. And they're going to make sure that you have a great understanding, record keeping, itemizing, and what to expect as far as returns go. They'll also touch base on what we refer to as some low-hanging fruit tax mitigation strategies that essentially are available for every single one of you that could really, really be the difference between saving 5, 10, 15, 20 plus $1,000 on your taxes, right? So whether you have corporate structures or you don't, book a call. Whether you have a corporate credit profile, book a call. Whether you have a CPA or not, make sure to book a call, right? It's something that's been covered by Michael and Coach K's team. So super, super informative. And then the last thing, for those of you that don't have corporate structures, not only make sure to book a call to make sure that you do get the proper corporate structure, but they also have a really, really cool promotion worked out for this webinar, where rather than you guys needing to pay retail fees for the LLC, all it is that you have to cover is our hard cost based off the state filing fee and the operating agreement filing fee. So a couple $100 at most, just depending on what state that you actually structure your LLC out of, right? So you can't get it done for any cheaper, right? Even Even if you were an attorney and you knew how to do this, it wouldn't be any cheaper for you, right? We're referring to it as a complimentary LLC, just for the simple fact, rather than paying the retail $1,600 that 65,000 other people are paying a year, all it is that you guys are covering that are part of this webinar is the hard cost, right? So make sure that you book your appointments and get up to speed with everything that you need to going into the tax season coming up for 2024. Right. And also, to your guys' point, give Coach K a massive, massive shout out. Like I said, we do a ton of corporate structures at a retail level. So beyond cool what Coach K and Michael have been able to work out with us. But get your corporate structures, get away from being the personal bank. And above all, make sure that you keep the money that you're making, right? Our slogan here is it's not what you make, it's what you keep, right? Make sure you guys keep that hard-earned money in your pockets. All right, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Nick. Everybody put thank you in the chat. And then once you booked your consultation with the team, go ahead and just put done in the chat. All right. So Nick, thank you, man, for spending your Saturday with us. I know you could be doing other things. So we appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother.
Good. Thank you, Michael. We'll talk to you soon.
Awesome, y'all. Listen, this is phenomenal, y'all. We taking action on a Saturday. We're taking action on a Saturday. We ain't done. We ain't done. Put we ain't done in the chat if you know we ain't done yet. Listen, y'all, I promised you I was doing a $100 giveaway. So I'm not going to make you all wait any longer because I got people messaging me saying, when is it happening? It's happening right now. All right. So I did pull this a few minutes ago. So if you submitted your testimonial late or you weren't in the room, just know it did not get put into this list. I just pulled it 5-10 minutes ago. Okay. So with that being said, we have one more guest speaker in 1 minute, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we are going to go ahead and pick the winner of the person that submitted a video or text testimonial. Everybody type drum roll in the chat. Type drum roll in the chat. All right, here we go, y'all. $100 cash. We'll send it over today. Is going to one lucky person. Who will it be? Uh-oh. Oh, Destiny Banks. Destiny. Is she here in the room? Destiny Banks is in the room. Let me see if I can pull her up real quick. Hey, what are you gonna do with this $100 you get? You're gonna go out to eat today? You're gonna invest in your business? What are you gonna do?
No, I'm gonna put that in a business account for real, honestly.
Awesome. Hey, Destiny, our team's gonna text you and we're gonna get to your Cash App and we're gonna send that over today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, y'all. Listen, power and taking action, y'all. But listen, we got one last session here today with Miss Saida Garrett Guest. Like I mentioned earlier, there's power in being prepared, right? There's power in being prepared. And a lot of times we wait too long to prepare, and then we regret it later. You guys ever experienced that in a situation? You're just like, sheesh, I wish I would have been a little bit more prepared. I wish I would have took a little bit more time to be there. Enough of that. We're going to get prepared. We're going to set up what's right. We had Primm come in. They're going to get your business, your LLC right. But let's talk about your personal life. We got to get some of these legacy planning things out of the way because it's super important. All right. So listen, Saida is going to come up today. She has many, many different plays. We brought her in once or twice already in the community to speak, and she's just so phenomenal at what she does. She is the founder of, I think it's Transformation Wealth Group. She just is literally thebomb.com whenever it comes to using life insurance to build wealth. Coming up, she also teaches tax strategy. She teaches how you can go ahead and set up your retirement, right? So she has all these different plays. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to her because I'm probably doing her an injustice. And I can't explain how awesome she is. So Saida, the floor is yours. You have 35-40 minutes here. Let's add some value to the family.
Awesome. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy New Year. There's so much that's happening in the world today, but I'm glad that I like that, Marquise. He said, what's up? Talk to me. I talk back. Okay. I am so glad this morning that we have another day, another opportunity. Somebody put another day in the chat. Put another day in the chat. Sometimes we just wake up and we watch the news and we get on Instagram and we do all this stuff. And it's just so down and depressing. And you ask somebody, you say, how y'all doing today? They say, well, I guess I'm here. I get it. I be like, what you mean? That's the best part. The best part is that we get another day. The best part is that you get an opportunity to get after it, to be able to change your life, change your family's life, change your goal. Now, I don't even know, Precious, where that came from. I didn't even plan on coming here and preaching. You know, I'm not even a preacher. But I just felt that when I got in this room, like we needed a little bit of energy. Somebody put change in the chat. We gotta change the energy. We gotta shift the energy a little bit up in here, because what I'm getting ready to talk about, what I'm getting ready to share with you, I honestly believe is the best thing that you need to learn. Now, I know y'all spent 5 days locked in. Okay. And you're learning all about how to structure your business, how to get the grants, how to fund it. But I'm telling you, if you do not do what I am getting ready to share with you in this next, I don't know how many minutes Michael gave me, 30, 35, something like that. We'll see what we can get through in there. But if you do not do what I'm talking about, if you don't get done what I'm talking about, guess what? It's not going to happen. Now, listen, let me ask you this. How many of y'all want to make 2025, you are ready for a financial explosion? If you are like 2025, I'm ready for a financial explosion, put ready in the chat for me. Let me know. Like, come on. Like, I didn't sign up. Look, Lord, I didn't sign up to be your strongest soldier this year, even though that's an honor. Let me tell you that. If y'all like, Lord, am I on the strongest soldier list again this year? Yeah, that's an honor. I love being on the forefront. I love when people call me. I love when people say, hey, you know what? We need you to come in. We need you to do this, because I'm battle ready. I don't know about y'all, but I'm battle ready, because everything that I'm working for, everything that I'm building, the reason why we're here together on a Saturday is because I'm battle ready. I'm telling you, I don't think y'all hear me. Candace, I don't think they hear me. Sonya, I don't think they hear me. Dee, I don't think they hear me on today. You have to be battle ready. You have to be battle ready. Why? Because the moment we set an intention, I want y'all to hear me. The moment we set an intention, to say, this is what I'm going to do. 2025 is going to be my year. I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm going to be the generational curse breaker. I'm going to be the one that's going to change the course, right? If it has to be, it's up to me. The moment we come out like, the moment we said, if God said it, it has to be. The moment we set an intention, I need you to understand that disruption follows. I need you to understand that the enemy is coming. I need you to understand that there's something trying to take that away. Y'all just sat here for 5 days. Y'all fired up. We know what we about to do, how we going to get this grant money, what we going to use the grant money. Michael and Coach K out here giving out money, hundreds of dollars. You setting your business up, but I want you to understand, I don't want you to be fooled. I don't want you to be unprepared. I don't want you to get caught off guard. The moment you set that intention, the enemy is coming. The battle is coming. So we're here today on a Saturday because we are battle ready. If we're going to say we're ready to have an explosion in our finances in 2025, I'm telling you, you got to be battle ready. Okay. And what I'm going to share with y'all today quickly is how to be battle ready. Is that okay? Is that okay with y'all? Can we get battle ready in here today? I don't even know where that came from. That's not even in my notes. I don't know why, but we getting battle ready today. Somebody say, okay, somebody say it's for me. Somebody say it's for me in the chat. It's for me. We came to get battle ready. All right, let's get battle ready. Let me share my screen here so we can do this. Fired up this morning. Must have had too much coffee. All right, let's get battle ready. So we are talking about legacy planning on today. Okay, we are talking about legacy planning on today. And let me tell you why this is so important to focus on, because how many of us know that all of what we're doing, we are doing this for something and someone bigger than us? Come on, somebody. How many of y'all know that while we are up, half the country, and we're keeping everybody in prayer, is on fire? Part of the country is on fire. The other part of the country is underneath snow. You know, we are here this morning because this is bigger than us. This is bigger than us. I done trekked over here in the snow because this is bigger than me. I'm battle ready. Okay. And so I want you to think about this for a second, right? This is about me really quickly. I won't spend too much time here. Okay. I can tell you all the wonderful things that we've done. I can tell you how we built our firm, and I can tell you all the people that we've served. I can tell you where we've been featured at in the news and the articles, and people who come to us on a national level to help people with their finances get in order. If you want to connect with me after this, because I can talk fast, I can get fired up, that's my social media handle right there. Okay. Make sure you connect with me on there as well too. provide a lot of information. I can tell you about how we're a best-selling author. I can tell you about all these things, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because we didn't already shifted. We didn't already had a change. We already ready to get battle ready. But I will say this. The person you are looking at today was not always this person. And I want to be very, very clear about that. People say, Saida, how did you get started in finance? How did you get started in wealth management? How did you get started in all of this? And the truth of the matter was, y'all, I never desired to be an entrepreneur. So I commend y'all. I never desired to be a business owner. I never desired to do that. I was the person, go to school, get a good job, work really hard. And let me tell you something, it worked for me. It worked for me. It worked for me. By the time I was 21, I was already out earning my parents by 3 times, already making 6 figures. Like I didn't have a job that I hated. I loved what I do, working with corporate executive CEOs. And, I didn't have that, I had a lot of time off. I could work, I could travel, I could do all these things. So how I got into the finance space, how I got into this, I want you to understand is that I got here because I was shamed. I was shamed into finances because I never forget, and sit with me here for a minute, y'all. I never forget walking into my first, what I call a big girl job. And when I'm in there, HR come in, y'all know what I'm talking about. HR come into the room and they giving you all your benefits. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And they're talking about what health insurance you have and how much PTO and time you're going to get off and what your 401k looks like and what, benefits and all these things they're going to give you. And I'm so excited. I'm fired up. And I'm like, mama, I made it. I did everything I said I was going to do. And then they said, okay, you need to go in here right now and select which investments you want us to put your 401k money in. And I said, huh? Okay, you need to select if you want an HMO plan, if you want the high yield plan. I'm like, who? Okay, here's an American Express credit card with no limit. You need to do, and I'm like, what? And here's what I realized. Here's what I realized in that moment. And so I raised my hand and I said, can you tell me what this means? What's the S&P 500? What's that? What is that? And they said, oh, no, we can't tell you anything. And so I'm looking around at my other counterparts and everybody's just head down and they're just filling stuff out and they're real diligent. And there was this guy sitting next to me. His name was Jay. And if you could envision Jay for a minute, Jay got like curly hair, glasses. Jay was a rocket scientist, like a real live rocket scientist. You hear me? I've never met a rocket scientist before, except for Jay. Probably the only one I ever met. But if you could picture a rocket science, white guy, freckles, curly red hair, and Jay was he was real intentional. And so I'm like peeking over at Jay and I'm like, what you put on your paper? So I'm putting down what Jay put down on his paper and come to find out Jay was wrong too. You understand what I'm saying? Jay was wrong too. So apparently having a 401k is harder than rocket science. So there haven't been many situations in my life where I was not informed. I didn't know. And so I had a lot of shame, guilt that my parents had taught me lessons about money that got me to where I was. But to get to the next level, somebody put next level in the chat. To get to the next level, there were some things that they just couldn't teach me. Why? They haven't been there before. My dad didn't get his first 401k until he was 40 years old. It's just some things they hadn't experienced before yet. They couldn't tell me how to buy my first property in the affluent neighborhood that I've been at before because they didn't, guess what? They didn't accept FHA. I'm like, hold up, what you mean? Everybody take FHA loans. Now if you want to live in this zip code, they don't. It was just some things. So to get to the next level, we got to learn some things new. We got to be open to some things new. And I had a lot of shame, a lot of guilt that I didn't know those things. And so for years, I was just like, I'm not going to say nothing. And then I realized that there are other people who are just like me, who are doing the right things, working really hard, building their businesses. But there's just some things about money we've never been taught before. And we had that fear, that embarrassment because we felt like we should know it. But here's the truth. You cannot be held accountable for what you've never been taught. But the moment, somebody said preach, the moment you get the download, the moment you get the information, the moment you get to sit in rooms like this, be a part of things like this, and you know what to do with it, that's when you're held accountable for it. So that's what I'm going to share here today. So how we can get held accountable. Now, back to the main point. Why are we here? I want you to think about for a moment, who am I doing this for? Why am I doing all of this? Because if it was just for me, I could be under the bed and the covers right now. I'd be okay. I could probably eat oodles and noodles, peanut butter and jelly, and be chilling, right? I could probably make 100,000, 80,000. They say if you make 75,000, it's the happiest people in the world. I could probably do that and be okay. But why am I trying to learn how to build a business? Why am I trying to learn how to structure it? Why am I trying to learn how to get grant funded and fund my business? Why am I doing all this? And I don't know about you, but see me, I made some promises to some people. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I made some promises to some people and I said, hey, listen, it's not always going to be like this. Mommy is going to make it happen. My grandmom who prayed for me, I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure that your later days are your greater days. Okay. I got a mama out there that was working really hard, right? 5 kids, single parent, doing things. So I made some promises to some people to say, hey, I borrowed some money from some people and say, hey, you just help me out this one time. I got this idea. I'm going to get it going. I'm going to get it. This time it's going to work out. So I want you to put in the chat who it is you made a promise to. And you can put their name, you can put my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, whatever. But I just want you to think about for a moment, who did you make this promise to? Who did you make a promise to that you were going to make it happen? That if you know what, I got to get up early on a Saturday. I gotta lock in. I got to be here for 5 days on this challenge straight because I'm going to be the first. I'm going to be the change breaker, the generator. Who did you make those promises to? That's why we're here. My mom, my family, God, myself. Wonderful. My parents. I don't know about y'all, but I made some promises. And where I come from, your word is everything. And so because I made those promises, guess what? I also don't intend to break them. And I'm going to show you what needs to happen so that you don't break them. So when we think about generational wealth, that's what a lot of our promises look like. It looks like real estate, properties, investments, businesses, life insurance, stocks, right? We get excited talking about all this stuff, right? We just so excited. Like when my family get this money, it's going to be in a trust and it's going to be in a holding company. It's going to be so protected. Nobody can find it, right? We are ready. But truth of the matter is most people, hear me out. Most people actually get left with what I call generational trauma. When somebody passes away, if you ever had to take care of anybody's affairs when they pass away, you know that's probably one of the worst positions you can be in. Because now you find out they got a whole bunch of debt. What you mean? They didn't pay their bills. How? They had Chanel, Gucci, Louis, everything else. They ain't pay them bills. Hold on. We got a reverse mortgage on the house. Who put the reverse mortgage on the house? They ain't paid a water bill. It's a tax lien on the property. Families fighting, torn apart, not talking to each other. I don't know what it is, but grandmom gold lamp just do something to people. I don't know. Nobody even liked the ugly gold lamp, been sitting there, ain't nobody dusted. But the moment grandmom going, I want the gold lamp. And now this side ain't talking to that side because we fighting over the gold lamp. You got GoFundMe accounts. I recently just had, y'all, this is so serious. One of my best friends just had a family member pass away. Nothing in place. Nothing in place. Creating a GoFundMe. When you're supposed to be honoring your loved one mourning, you out here begging people for money. How that make your family feel? Why? Because you were so selfish. Oh, just, throw my body over the river. Put me underneath the church. Sorry, we can't do that. It's not real. it's not the likelihood. I don't need all that. Put me in the pine box. But where they sell the pine boxes at? Because the pine box on Walmart still costs, $6,000. I need something. Y'all laughing, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So we get left with generational trauma. So here we are. We made some promises to some people. We understand that we got to work hard. We want to leave generational wealth. If it's to be, it's up to us. We know we set the intention to make it happen, but hear me out. With intention follows disruption. Here comes the disruption. And so now you have this 70% of people, 70% of wealth is lost by the second generation. Meaning that what you are building, what you are planning, Destiny, what you are planning, Marquise, what you are planning, Sherelle, what you are building, your children won't even see it. Beverly, believe that? Your children won't see it, Jill. 90% of wealth is lost by the third children, meaning them grandbabies you love so much. I'm building this for them. Bristol. They don't see it. They don't see it. So why are we here? I told y'all we made some promises. I told y'all we got to get battle ready. Why are we here doing all of this if it doesn't make it, if it doesn't get to the finish line, if it doesn't happen, right? So we've seen so many famous people And I won't go into it too much, but we've seen so many famous people in the same situation. Nipsey Hussle, no will. Aretha Franklin left a legacy. She was bankrupt, got out of bankruptcy, fixed all that stuff. IRS took about 70% of her wealth from her children. James Gandolfini got hit with federal estate tax and state estate tax. He left his daughter $40 million. Guess how much she got? 40 million. She got 9. Michael Jackson, the king of pop himself, okay? He actually had just about everything in place, except for his attorneys did not fund his trust. So therefore, today, his estate is one of the highest gross earning estates after death of a person, 50 million a year, still going through probate. Still going through probate. Still going through probate. Then what happens? We hear stories about people, okay, where their family did get the money. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. What happened? How does that happen? And let me be real transparent here. I don't need Michael Jackson and Aretha and Nipsey. I don't need all of those people to know that wealth doesn't get passed down. We could take a poll right here in this room and we can all share stories about how our parents owned something. Our grandparents owned something. They had land, they had a business, they had this, they had that. Ask yourself how much of that trickled down to you. Matter of fact, let's do this really fast. How many of you, just go ahead and put in the chat for me right fast. If you know that somebody in your family owned something, but it did not pass down to you, put me in the chat. Like, I know some of y'all here got the same skin hue as me. Family worked real hard, built a lot. Can't account for none of it. Some of you parents come over from other countries. They left businesses. They left so much to come here to America. Not trickling down, not passing down. Very few. So we have to be the change breakers. We have to be the curse breakers. We have to be the ones in our family, because if it's to be, it's up to us. Now, we already set the intention and we made some promises. Now, here's why families don't experience this. This is what happens. One, debt. Debt does not go away when you leave here. So therefore, you should learn about getting money that you know, grants that you don't have to pay back. You should. Imagine having a business that's debt-free. Most business owners, I ain't got time to get into that today. Most business owners have a bunch of debt. You're learning how to do that and not get as much debt. Funeral and burial costs, it's expensive. Medical expenses, the biggest thing that wipes people out financially is they get sick. It's not even about dying too soon, get sick. Y'all see what's going on with healthcare in this country? Inflation and timing. Administration fees, taxes, not having the right documents. Number 8, loss of expertise. How many of y'all are the best person that can do what you do? You are the only person that can do what you do. Nobody does it like me. We take pride in that. Think about this. Have you ever been to a restaurant that you loved that changed ownership? What happens, Charlene, when we go to a restaurant that we love and then all of a sudden it changes ownership? What do we say about that restaurant? Precious, what we be saying? Oh, it don't taste the same. It ain't never been the same. They don't do it like they used to do it. Come on now. If you are the only person who can do what you do, if you are the best at it, then guess what? When you go, that expertise goes. That business goes. There goes that legacy we were planning on building. So what I'm going to share with you all today, in a time that we have, which is not much, really quickly, what you need to do to be prepared. Somebody say, be prepared. What you need to do to be prepared so you can make sure that you don't fall into the 70%, the 90%, because we know we already set the intention. And because we set the intention, we know that disruption is coming. Okay, we know that disruption is coming. So therefore, we came here today to get battle ready. So let me give you what you need to help you start gearing up so that you can be battle ready. Here's the thing. Number 1, you need a plan. Write that down. If you're taking notes, I need a plan. You need to have a legacy plan. Nobody has ever done anything successful in life without a plan. Just doesn't happen. Think about yourself. Anything that you have been successful in, you had a plan. Yet, most people stop planning after we get out of high school. After that, we're just winging this thing called life. We're just out here trying to figure it out, winging it. You cannot wing wealth. You cannot wing your legacy. Why? I made some promises. I don't have time for the it might happen, it might not happen. No. If something happens to me today, baby, them kids got them. I can't wing it. I made a promise. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not working as hard to wing it. You need a plan. Now, your plan, your legacy plan breaks down into 3 different parts. And you have to understand and get very clear which part of the plan you're in. So there's 3 parts to building a legacy. The first part, you have to build your wealth. And when you're in the building wealth phase, Cornell, let me tell you, this is what you got to focus on. You got to focus on active income, making more money. Bottom line, how do I make more money? Then you got to focus on your cash flow. See, your cash flow, a lot of times people think cash flow equals budget. That's not the same thing. Cash flow is how you generate income. There's 4 different ways to generate income. There's 4 different types of income. Then it focuses on how you're spending that income. How fast does your money exit the economy? So when we're working with our clientele, when we're talking about their cash flow analysis, it's how do we generate them income either from a business or investments, and then use that money from there to be able to recycle back in their own economy by buying cash flowing assets. Most people, when we make money, that money we take it and then we spend it on expenses. The second level of people, we make money, then we spend it on liabilities, homes, cars, so forth. Then we spend it on expenses, and then it exits it out into the economy. When you are a legacy builder, when you are multiplying your wealth, you want to understand how to generate income, use that income to purchase you a cash flowing asset, use that income, that cash flow from that asset to put it back into growing your active income. See, so many people, the internet got us confused thinking about we should be retiring. I'm 25, I'm retired. I'm 17, I'm retired. I'm 34, I'm retired. No, if you retire, if you do this the wrong way, you retire too soon. Guess what? You missed the years that you need to be growing your active income. Active income, cash flow. Then you got to be focused on buying and purchasing assets, building that up. And then finally, your insurance protection. Why is that important? Because you are just getting started. If something happens to you, I call it the get rich or die trying plan. I still needed to make it happen. Next part, sustaining wealth. Once you've built it, now I have all these things going. I need to be sustaining it. I got to keep it. So let's say you are 30, you're 40 or so forth. Hey, I'm making $1 million. I'm doing really great. A lot of my business owners ask me this question. Okay, great. You did it. You made it. Here's the thing. You're not dying. You have to sustain it for the next 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. Y'all ever heard of somebody be a used to be story? Come on, talk back to me there. Y'all ever heard of a used to be story? Dr. Erica, come on. Back in my day, I used to be. How many of y'all working this hard to say, oh, I made $1 million? Y'all remember back in 2025? That was the best time of our lives. We lived in this nice home. We were doing these nice things. And then somebody look at you and say, well, what happened today? It's 2070. What happened? Nobody, we're not doing this to be a used to be story. You have to learn how to sustain the wealth, how to keep it, how to maintain it. How do you do that? You got to diversify your income. Sometimes we're trying to do a lot of things, but we really need to focus, follow one course into successful. Most wealthy people have one business they build up that makes them a lot of money. They get it really good. They get it really tight. They dial it in, the systems, the processes, the people. Then they use the cash flow of that business to then do what? Buy other businesses. When Jay-Z was rapping, he was not buying sports teams. He was not buying art. He was rapping, making music to build him up to what? That made me enough money that now I can diversify and buy other things. Now I can get into different industries. Then that's when you want to focus on, okay, what's my passive income? Because I don't want to be active anymore. So I need to focus on getting passive income, money that's coming to me where I'm not doing the work. My money is making the money for me. Here's the one most people miss out: guaranteed income. Because just because it's passive doesn't mean it's guaranteed. Come on, somebody. Just because it's passive doesn't mean it's guaranteed. How many of y'all would like to wake up every single day and get paid the same amount of money and you don't have to do nothing for it? I mean, nothing. Doesn't matter if the markets are up or down, left or right. Doesn't matter if the economy is up, down, left or right. Doesn't matter if the president is black, white, purple, orange, or blue. You got that money coming in every single month. That's guaranteed income. You're focusing on taxes, how to be able to reduce that. Again, making sure you have the right insurances and protections in place. And then finally, transferring your wealth. Now I'm at the point. Most people think about building a wealth. And then once we build it, we automatically start giving it away, putting it up for people. But we forget that we got to sustain it first. Now we can transfer it. That's your estate plan, your legacies, your wills, your trust. What's your exit strategy for your business? As much as you are working on building it and growing it, how do you get out of it? How do you focus again on taxes, but transferring it? And then also, final thing that you've seen consistent is your insurance protection. What is that protection on there? So what we do with our clients is we take them through this entire process where we help them focus, one, identify where they at in the wealth building phase. Because some people say, Saida, I don't know where to start. Some of y'all are asking Coach K, I don't even know where to start at in this process. First, you got to identify, where are you? Am I in the building wealth phase? Am I in the sustaining wealth phase? Drop in the chat where you are. You like, yep, Saida, I'm in the building wealth phase. I got to make more money. Got to buy more assets. That's me. I'm in the sustaining wealth phase. I have money. I have assets, but I need to diversify. Okay, I need to focus on some guarantees, some passive. Some of y'all, I'm diversified. I got passive. I have guaranteed. I'm ready to transfer some of this to some people. Put where you are in the chat. Let me see. Where are we at in the chat? All right, building. A lot of us in the building. Some in the sustaining wealth phase. Okay, good. Building. Most people here are in the building wealth. Okay, great. So now we help you identify, where are you? Then once we identify where you are, now we can drill down to help you take actionable steps to get through that phase, to master it. How do I get more active income? You got to work. I said we got to get battle ready. Somebody put fight in the chat. We have to be battle ready. Put fight in the chat. Let me tell you why you're putting fight in the chat. Here's why. Nothing in life comes without a fight. Freedom is not free. We're here to be financially free. I don't know anybody who's ever achieved freedom that didn't have to come with a fight. I think about this here country. America had to fight for its freedom, whether you like it or not. Guess what? It had to fight. A lot of people died. A lot of people served in this country to fight wars so that we could be free. It came with a fight. If your skin hue looked like mine, your parents had to fight for freedom. Your grandparents, your great-grandparents had to fight for freedom. Financial freedom is free. Salvation, come on, somebody. Jesus had to die. He had to fight to go to the cross and die for that. That's not even free. I don't know any freedom that came without a fight. And too many of y'all are trying to quit the fight early. You gotta get in here. You gotta get it working, okay? So then we help you drill down on each activity that builds out your game plan so that you can move forward in the process. Now, today, I don't know how much time I have, maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 3 things really quickly, okay? Because I can't get into all this today. Coach K will put me out of here. But I'm going to give you 3 really quickly, okay? So take notes and we can get through this, all right? So this is important too. These are the 3 people you need to make sure you hire: an accountant, an attorney, and a financial professional like myself, okay? Make sure you have them if you're serious. First thing I'm going to talk about is insurance, because you saw that be consistent in every single area. The first thing I'm going to focus on is insurance. Why? Insurance is your get rich or die trying plan. It is the foundation of everything you do. Without it, it doesn't happen. Okay, without it, what you're trying to build doesn't happen. So what type of insurances do I need? What do I need to focus on? Some of us need to focus on the basics. Life insurance. You need to make sure that, let's be real for a second, okay? How many of y'all know that if something happened to you right now, your family would be in trouble? If the good Lord called you right now, your family would be in trouble. You just out here naked. You don't even have insurance. Put naked in the chat. I'm just naked, Saida. I ain't even got it right now. It's okay. This is a safe place. I told y'all I was shamed into this. I didn't even know any of this stuff. I saw the insurance man come, but I didn't really understand what was happening. I thought, at my job, if they gave me 1 time my salary, that would be enough, but it wasn't. Some of us just naked. That's okay. You don't have to stay naked. You can get clothed. That's the basic part. Do you know you can literally multiply your wealth and get millions of dollars of coverage for less than what you spend on coffee? I spend $10 a day on Dunkin' Donuts. If I do that 10 times 5, that's what, 50? 50 times 4 a week, that's $200. You can get millions of dollars of protection to make sure that those promises you made still happen. God forbid you get sick. God forbid, you know, the world is just a crazy place right now. So much uncertainty out here. You can still make it happen. Now, why do I need life insurance? It protects your income. Once you got the basics down, you need to protect your income. If you know you're going to make multiple millions of dollars, you're the one, you got to protect yourself in the future. You can use that to grow wealth, okay? So many things. Second thing, health insurance. You need to protect your health. Health is wealth. There's too many things that happen. I told you, getting sick is what bankrupts most people. When most people file for bankruptcy, is because they had a medical expense. They got sick. Spent all my money, everything I built up, saved on medicine. I never forget my first office location. We had to leave because they sold the building. They said the owners are going to come around and talk about what's happening. Two young Jewish guys came around, maybe in their 30s, you know, maybe early 40s. I'm like, why are you guys selling the building? They said, because it's 3 of us in a partnership. One of our partners got injured on a boating accident. We need to liquidate the assets. We need to liquidate the assets so that he can help pay for his medical expenses. And I'm talking about this property was at a very, you know, think about whatever your downtown area is, like an office building. Imagine you got to sell that. They were selling 3 of them because he got into a boating accident. Not having the right insurance is set up. Then if you own a business, your business needs to be insured and protected, right? Do you have key person insurance? Do you have, insurance that if something happens, your income can still come in? So you got to learn how to protect what's your most valuable to you. Now, there are insurances that actually can help you grow and build wealth, where there has a cash value portion into that, okay? I don't have time to get into it today, but those are some of the things that you can help do with that process. It's not just about what if I die? That's the first part you got to understand. What if I die? Don't be selfish. Take care of your family. Don't be out here naked, because that's what you're doing. You're being selfish. And now, instead of us being like, oh, she was wonderful, he was wonderful, we whispering in your ear in the casket like, you know, you had these kids. Who do you know that is as financially prepared that can take care of what you need to take care of? Who can keep the promises you said you was going to keep? Okay, don't be selfish. Then once you have that covered, learn how to use it. Wealthy people use insurance to build their businesses. So many businesses started off insurance. Presidential campaigns. John McCain, when he ran for president, he used his life insurance policy to fund the campaign. So many people use it who are wealthy, so don't get fooled by it, right? So you need that. You need to understand that. Second thing I'm gonna give you, passive income. When you're looking at passive income, you got to decide which passive income option works for you. Somebody put passive in the chat, because that's what we're all working to. But not all passive income is created the same. So you got to ask yourself, okay, if I'm building up for passive income, what really is entailed in that? Okay, what's the risk level that comes with it? How liquid is it? Meaning, if something happens, can I get my money out of it quickly? Okay, what are the tax implications that come along with it? And is the income that it's providing, is it guaranteed? So you have to look at that. If I'm in real estate, is high risk. Okay, the liquidity is limited. Everybody I talk to, all my clients who are real estate, here's the same issue. All their money is tied up in real estate. In order to get the money out, they have to sell the property. They have to liquidate it, right? Tax implications. They're constantly doing 1031 exchange, right? Burr method, buy, rehab, refinance, repeat, right? But you have to roll that money over so you don't pay taxes in a 1031 exchange. So eventually you're just kicking a tax bill down to your generations, okay? And then the income is not guaranteed. People don't pay their rent, not secure. So many things that can happen. So you got to ask yourself, am I building the right type of passive income? There's only one passive income that you can build yourself where it gives you guaranteed lifetime income, and that's called an annuity, right? And so why do you need guaranteed income? What happens if you live too long? What happens if the market changes? What happens if, when it comes your time to start living off your passive income, the market drops? What happens if regulatory issues change? What happens if taxation happens, right? We look at what's happening with TikTok. So many people are building their businesses on this platform, making money. If the government decides TikTok got to sell on the 19th, what's the game plan? So you got to ask yourself those things. Just a quick example, how you can take $20,000 a year, put that away into a guaranteed income annuity creates your own pension plan, whether you have a job or not. You put away $400,000, it'll pay you out 2.7 million guaranteed. Come on, somebody. This is what we do. Why? We made promises. We got to make sure it happens. We got to make sure we build it. Then we got to make sure we sustain it. Now I'm going to talk about transferring it really quickly, and I got to get up out of here. You need an estate plan. You need a trust. A will, you need that too. A will says who gets what. A trust says what they can do with the what. Okay, so you have to understand that a trust is what's going to be able to allow you to have control after you're gone. Because how many people have ever heard a story of somebody turning 18, 21 years old, they're going to get millions of dollars? Anybody ever heard that story before? Now, I don't know about you, Deborah. I don't know about you, Nikita, Hakeem. I don't know, okay? But Hakeem, if somebody gave me $1 million at 18 years old, that money is getting blown. It's gone. I'm in Miami. I'm standing on couches. I'm popping bottles. I'm eating Chinese food. Thank God it didn't come at that time. So why are we building all of this, Dr. Erica? Why are we building all of this just for have somebody squander it away? Because they got gambling problems, because they got addiction problems, because hey, we said generations. A generation is 30 years. How many generations we leaving it for? You can't squander it because it got to get to the next generation. I didn't do all this for one generation. A trust is what gives you control of it. Now that you have the control over it, you have to fund it. Not everything you own should go into a trust. There are certain accounts that go in there. There are certain accounts that go in certain types of trusts, and there are some things that don't go in there at all. What is what we call your taxable estate and what is your non-taxable estate? Then you have taxes, and I'm up out of here. Taxes. Somebody put keep in the chat. Somebody put keep in the chat. And then I gotta go. If it's good, let me know. If it's good for y'all, like let me know. Cause I'm fired up, but I want to know. Like I want to know, Maddie, like, is this good? Like, let me know. Okay. All right. Maddie said it's good. Okay. Taxes determine how much of your money you actually get to keep. That's why wealthy people care about it so much. They're not, when we have a political, political things in this country, they're not concerned about roads, education, water infrastructure. They don't care about that type of stuff. They are talking about taxes. Let me tell you why. Taxes determine how much of your money you actually get to keep. Because listen to this, Marquise. If I keep more of my money, guess what? I can live in a better neighborhood. If I keep more of my money, I can afford to send my kids to better school. If I keep more of my money, I have more of my money to invest. I don't need the government to step in because guess what? I can keep more of my money. Taxes determine how much you keep. But when you leave here, these are all the ways they're going to tax you. You still got to pay income tax even when you're not here. Yep. Within 9 months of a death. Federal estate tax. If you build your businesses, your companies, your life insurance, all that you own to be more than $13.6 million, guess what? 40% goes to the federal government. Capital gains tax. Those assets, when they make money, you got to pay taxes. Listen to this. If you live in these states here on the screen, if somebody gives you something, they leave you something, you got to pay an inheritance tax. I'm in PA. Even if I didn't ask for it, if grandma left me to go limp, I got to pay a tax on it. State estate tax, meaning that these different states, not only do the federal government tax you on estate tax, but then these states here, guess what? They also have an estate tax. That's how James Gandolfini got caught up. Generational skipping tax. You want to skip, you know what? Bump them kids. I'm leaving to my grandkids. You got to pay a tax for that. If you try to give it away, Nikita, they still going to tax you. You need a strategy. You need a game plan on how to do this, okay? So I'm going to wrap up here today with that. Michael, I'm all done. Coach K, I'm all done. I hope that was helpful. I hope y'all really got something from that. Destiny, I hope you rethink that $100 you just won and you really start to, get spicy with it, okay? Now I don't know if, Michael, you let us know what we can do if there's something there, if there's questions or whatever. I don't know how much time I have or don't have left, but I really hope that as you all are doing this, you understand the why you're doing it and you get a plan to make sure that you can build your wealth, you can sustain it, and you can transfer it.
So before you go, I'm all about taking action now. I encourage my community to take action now and not later. So I'm going to drop your link in the chat if you're okay with that. And I want them to go book their appointments right now. I don't want them to wait until tomorrow or the next day because they're going to forget or they're going to be like, where was the link again? So I want you to take action now and book your call. If you found value in this, and I know she touched on some things that even I need to put in place. So I'm getting ready to book my call too. So I want you guys to go book your call now. I'm going to book mine as well. And then I want you to come back and comment done. I want you to book your call and then come back and comment done. Y'all better hurry up before all the spots are gone because I know time is limited. So I am booking my call. I want you to go do the same and come back and comment done, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And action is key, right? Action is what's going to get it done. You got to take the first step because y'all seen that legacy journey. If you're serious about it, it's some steps in there. It's steps that we have to take to get done. You just got to take the first one. You just got to take the first step. That's figuring out where you are. That's really it. That's key. Now, I don't know, Coach, if we have time for questions, but you let me know because
Yeah, we could bring like maybe one or two people up. If you have a question you want to ask for Miss Saida, after you guys book your call, go ahead and just use the hand raise feature and we will pull two people up. See, Dee says done, Felicia says done, Dr. Erica done. Awesome, y'all. Never can be too prepared, right? That's the goal of this is getting you prepared. So what questions you all have, go ahead, use the hand raise feature, and then we'll wrap this up after these last two Q&A. And thank you, Saida, for coming up here and just sharing so much information, spending your Saturday with us. I know you were the last speaker, so right in the middle of the day, so we appreciate your time and effort here.
Thank you so much, Saida.
No questions at all, y'all? Where you at? Let me see. Okay, I think you guys are just booking
Booking
those
their call.
appointments.
So they were kind of distracted because they was booking the call.
I got you. I got you. Cool. Cornell, what's your question, brother?
Oh, sorry. I have a friend who's an insurance broker, so some of these things I already have in place, but I want to look to maximizing it. So can you like compound other insurance as I build wealth? You know, I'm on a pension, which is decent, but you know, I've invested a lot of money in my production business. I've invested money in coming on as a Academy member with Coach K. So I'm working those expenses off, but I'm always looking to build to the future. I'll be 61 next week, but I'm just getting my steam. Most that know me, if I don't tell my age, they don't know my age because I fix myself spiritually, mentally, physically, and I'm really focusing on generational wealth. So if I have some in place, I guess you always like compound that or add to it. You know, I want to look to build more, but as my income accommodates that. Does that make sense?
it does. It does. And so thank you for that question, Cornell. And you do. You know, you look good. You look good. Okay. So let's listen to this. I've never had a client, I've never had a recipient of generational wealth say, dang, they left me too much money. I just never heard it. Like I've never heard that. I've never heard somebody say, "Man, I wish they would have left less. I wish they would have left less money." Never heard it. There's so many things you can do, and this is why this call is important when you meet with our team because a 15-minute call is the difference between having a decent retirement and having a great retirement. It's the difference between having a comfortable financial plan and a great financial plan. It's the difference between that 70% and that 90%. And so there's always more that could be done. And sometimes it's not even the big things. It's the small things. All those people I put on the screen, they got caught up on small technicalities, small things. I seen something in the news recently about Lauren London, and it said she finally got her payout from Nipsey Hussle's estate and that their son will receive like $5.6 million. And while for some people that may seem like a lot of money, think about if he was still living, how much more that should have been, could have been. if he had protected not just his current value, but his future value. If I know I'm going to be a millionaire, if I know I'm going to be a billionaire, if I know that I'm going to do this, I need to be protecting that now. 2 weeks ago, I went and got $2 more million because we was going on a trip. I said, hey, I'm going to go international. I might need a couple of more million just in case, just in case the plane might not do what it need to do. Okay. So you can always do more. There's always more that can be done. To answer your question.
Thank you so much, Jaden.
You're welcome.
All right. Hey, Miss West.
Hello there.
How are you?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
All right,
can.
sorry, I had to take out my headphones. Hello. I had a question for your guest. After we book our call with you guys, what happens after that? So we get our strategy call, and then from there, what does it look like?
Mm-hmm. So once you book that strategy call with us, that 15-minute call with us, we're going to sit down and understand where you are, right? So that's the first thing, is identifying which part of the wealth building phase you're in.
Okay.
Then once we identify that, and if it makes sense for us to work together and move forward, then we'll help you go deeper into that phase with the financial strategy. You need that plan. And why the plan is so important, Franda, why that plan is so important is that you're going to hear so much information. So many people saying you need to do this, you need to do that. And everything that's good doesn't mean that it's good for you. But if you don't have a plan, then you don't know where you should be going. So now when you can get on calls and you can be a part of things, you can be more intentional because you know what your plan is, you know where you're trying to go, and you know what pieces you're looking for. That's what we help develop for you. And then in that plan, if there are gaps that need to be filled, then our firm can help you fill those gaps. And we do that through recommendations. We give out 3 different recommendations. The first one are some things that you can go do on your own. You don't need to hire everybody, right? You got to put in the work. Okay. Some of those recommendations are things that you can take back to your current financial custodian and say, hey, I have a question about this, right? Can you take a double look at that? And some of those recommendations we can help implement together, okay?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, last question from Susie, and then we'll close it out.
Hi, how are you? I think I'm there. Yes, I am. You were talking about earlier when you were talking about our parents, and my father had land, and Nevada decided they wanted to open up and enlarge the highway. They just took the land. We couldn't even really fight for it. Now, my question is, how do you keep and cover yourself in those type of situations? Because government, if they want it, they take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told. And we really didn't have time to even make a real decision because they had just done it. And he had just passed away. How do I protect myself and my family in these type of situations?
Yeah. So I'm not sure the full details of what happened in that situation. So I'll speak to one instance and where that can happen, even though this may not be specific to what happened in your situation. Okay, that makes sense. So there is something called eminent domain.
That's it.
And eminent domain is where if the government declares that this piece of land is necessary for the growth in or expansion of our country, then they can claim what's called eminent domain. Now, even in them claiming eminent domain, it doesn't mean that you just have to like roll over and give up your land. There is compensation. There is fair compensation that can happen for eminent domain. And so this is why it's so important to understand, and I didn't have time to get into this today, but one of the things we teach our clients how to do is how to value what it is you have. Because if you don't know the value of what you have, then how do you know if somebody is giving you a fair price for that? And so things that aren't allowed when my clients talk with us or say, oh, I just have this or I only have that. I don't care what it is, it's yours. What's the value on it? And we have to know the value ourselves, but also teach that value to other family members. Like one of the things we do with our children is like in our properties and stuff. I'm like, you see those doors? Those are French doors. Okay, they're not just no regular doors. Look up at that ceiling. That's crown molding, right? They need to know that because we found deals that we've done, and people are looking to take advantage of people who don't know the value. Y'all following me? That's why gentrification happens. Because we say, oh, we don't want to live in that neighborhood. Somebody said, okay, watch this. Now you got $1 million homes in areas that we used to call ghetto.
Yeah.
Or why? Because we didn't value it. So there's a fair compensation that comes along with that, having known the value. And so whatever you do, and this happens especially in the estate planning part, we do something called an asset inventory with our clients. If you have a business, you should be doing a valuation on your business. So that something like that does happen, you know how to ask for fair compensation. And that's why I said you need to hire 3 people: an attorney, a CPA, and a financial professional. Your CPA, make sure your taxes are good. Your attorney, make sure that if something happens like that, you have the legal protections, and then your financial professional, make sure you have the strategy. Okay. But that's what it really comes down to.
It was the eminent domain. You're right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. But again, there's fair compensation. I was like, okay, y'all need a highway. That's okay. Just pay me for it. So every time I drive over this highway, I can say, yep, this is what I got for it.
One more thing then. So because I wasn't the, what do you call it? Over the everything, what do you call it? Not the beneficiary, but the
executor.
The
executor.
Yeah, that was the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I protect that? Ugh.
Yeah. You gotta make sure you set yours up right.
That's what I want to do.
And also too, I would encourage everybody to check in, right? If you know that you can possibly be the recipient of generational wealth, you don't want that headache. So you need to be checking in with your parents, with your grandparents. Hey, do you got this set up? Who is the executor? What is that, right? Because if they don't have those things in place, then the state gets to make those decisions. And I'm telling you, it's not what you think.
Yep.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. All right, wonderful.
That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. All right. I hope everybody scheduled their calls. That's super, super important. Saida, I thank you for always coming in and blessing my community. You always provide just so much value, and I appreciate you and just for who you are and how you're always just so willing to show up and execute. So we appreciate you for that. Give me some emojis, some fire emojis in the chat, some thank yous, because this was amazing, you guys. All right, Michael, I'll turn
Awesome. Thank you
it
so
over to you.
much.
Here,
Thanks.
guys.
We appreciate you. Awesome. Well, you all, has today been great or what? Has this just been a phenomenal experience? Thank you, Coach, for just bringing in some amazing speakers and allowing us to bring them in. Perfect way to start out the year, you all. Perfect way to start out 2025. Like, now you can take this information, run with it. And like I told you, I think yesterday and Thursday, you have this momentum. Don't let the momentum die. Don't let the momentum die. Because I promise you, momentum is one of the greatest things, greatest assets that you could have at the beginning of the year like this. You got the motivation, you got the inspiration, you got the knowledge, you got action steps now. You got the ball moving. The bus is going in the right direction. You just got to keep the foot on the gas. If you're going to keep the foot on the gas going into I guess it would be the 3rd week of January, just put yes in the chat. I want to see who our action takers are. And I know a little, you decided, hey, I'm going to keep my foot on the gas by joining the academy. And if you join the academy, just put yes in the chat. Or no, let's just do this. Just put a fire emoji in the chat if you join the academy and you're a part of the academy. Ebony says, I did. Awesome. Awesome. Some of you all, you're going to have us to help you keep that momentum going, which I'm so excited about. I do want to give a shout out to Johnny. I believe it was Johnny. Yep. Johnny got in to the academy. So as of looking, I just want to remind you, and we have some people in the room that may be newer and not hearing about this opportunity, but we just presented yesterday and the day before the opportunity for a deeper mentorship with Coach K. We have the academy where you can come in and get 12 weeks of mentorship. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, it's about to be a movie. It's about to be crazy. Yeah, I see Johnny just got in. So we had 20 spots, and this is not false urgency or scarcity. This is legit. I can show you the list. We had 20 spots open, we've had 17 get filled. That means we have 3 left now that Johnny took the last or the one. So we got 3 spots for those that want the mentorship and opportunity. So what I'm going to do, coach, if you give me permission, I just want to share one last time because it closes tomorrow night or once all spots are filled. The academy, the community is awesome. The community is what you all have, a lot of you all have been a part of. But what the academy is a step higher. You have the community where some of you all are paying $37 a month. Maybe you pay $370 for a year. And that's awesome. Coach does bi-weekly Q&As. We bring in guests. There's a whole community. It's thebomb.com, but there's 1,300 people in there. You can't get personalized support. And I've been saying this the past couple of days. You can't get personalized support that way. But the academy, which is a step up, is where coach is actually going to meet with you weekly in a small group of like 20 people, right? There's not 300 on a call like this. There's 20 people, 25. You're not gonna go ghost because coach is gonna call you out. We're gonna have accountability this year set in place for you. But then also there's a bunch of other things in place. So let me show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen for those of you all that are newer to this. And listen, you don't have to do this, but this is only for those that want more accountability this year. We only got 3 spots left. So 12-week mentorship in the Business and Grant Academy, okay? This is what it comes with. You will not find Coach K talking about writing grants for other people and making money off of it anywhere on the internet. You will not find this in the community. But when you join the academy, not only are you going to continue learning about grants and funding, but Coach is going to share with you how you can actually become a grant writer and get paid to go and write grants for other people. Did you know there are organizations that will pay you $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 or more just to write grants for them? We're going to show you how to do that. We'll show you how to set up your business website, how to build your packages. We even have some training coming up, Lord willing, this year on how to actually go and market and find clients faster, right? So we have all these tools in place for you to actually become a certified grant writer with Coach K. And that alone is a play. If you guys see the value and you see that, how crazy that could be, just put, I see it in the chat. Because that play alone could bring, I can't guarantee anything. Like, I'm not here to make guarantees, but just imagine if you got one new grant client a month. Listen, nonprofits, they want that grant money. They want that grant money, don't they? Even for-profits, they want it. So if you go to somebody and say, hey, I'll help you find grants in your business, it's a no-brainer, right? So you get it certified. We have we call it a business in a box where you get Coach K's emails, Coach K's text messages, Coach K's templated websites, and you can actually go and create your grant writing business in about 3 to 4 weeks. Outside of that, weekly coaching calls for 12 weeks with Coach K. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday, Coach? I always forget.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, Coach meets with you all in Zoom, not with the whole community, just with the academy members. Normally there's 10, 20-ish people in there. So you get to ask questions directly to Coach. She can give you really good guidance. On top of that, Coach's team and our team is going to write 3 to 5 grants for you, because some of you all have been messaging Coach saying, hey, how do I actually just get you to do this for me? When you join the academy, you get 3 to 5 grants written by Coach's team. So not only do you get the grant writing certification, not only do you get coaching calls every week, not only do you get the done for you grant writing, but then we also have courses, you all. Some of you all want to start a nonprofit. We have a course on that. We have a course on business funding, business formation, personal credit. None of these are offered inside the community. These are offered in the academy only. Put wow in the chat if you're getting this. So you get the done for you grant writing certification, the coaching calls, the done for you grant writing, 4 courses. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 courses, business credit, plus a private community and school. A lot of you are in the business and grant community school, but you also get a private school community just for academy members. So you could chat with Cornell and Kaylee and Johnny, who just got in. You guys can chat with each other, network in a private area. We also have a top secret list of additional grants. So you guys get grants from Coach K, but we have a totally separate vault with other grants you can put on your calendar and work with. All right. Then my favorite right here, y'all, my favorite in-person mastermind event in Atlanta this March. You guys get to come join in Atlanta. We always have great food. This was a mansion mastermind. We had one in December already for our past Academy members. But you get to come and hang out with Coach K in person with all the other Academy members. Learn. We had somebody come in and teach business funding tactics a little bit more. We had Coach give out more game. We talked about grant writing businesses, how you could take that to the next level. So that's going to be this spring. You get access to that. Johnny, I better see you there, brother. On top of that, Neo surprised you guys and said, we're going to throw in his event space course. And all of that, you all, thousands of dollars worth of value, thousands of dollars for only $5,000. Only 5,000. People think we're crazy. We got people telling us we should charge 15, 20, $30,000 for this. But you know what we said? We said, no, we got to let the people get in. We got to make it accessible. So we have 3 more spots, totally transparent, shutting down after the 3 spots. So all you have to do is go to workwithcoachk.com. You can pay in full or you can put down a deposit. Shout out to everybody who got in. If you already got in, just put invested. Let me give you a shout out real quick. But all you have to do is go to workwithcoachk.com. You can save your spot. Dr. Erica did, Dee did, Ebony did, Sanja did. You can save your spot with a $2,000 deposit, or you can pay in full. If you use, we do allow you to do payment plans. If you do a payment plan, it is a little bit more. It's $7,500 broken up over like 3 months. We also have a third-party funding company that you can get the rest of it, the investment financed through. So if you go to Work with Coach K, you can secure your spot, or you can text our team. The number is in the chat. It's 470-748-4158. And so it's there in the chat. Go check it out. Coach, we start next week. Tell them about the orientation. What day is the orientation and what can they expect?
Orientation is going to be Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And new member or new Academy member orientation, I go over how you can schedule your one-on-one with me. This is the only time you'll be able to schedule that one-on-one. So how you can schedule one-on-ones with me, how you can go in and use and leverage the Academy and the resources inside of the Academy, and a full deep dive on how you can get access to the Done For You grant writing service, the information that I am going to require so me and my team can go in and write grants and locate grants on behalf of your business as well. So we do a full deep dive on the Academy, how to use the platform, and how to leverage all of the amazing resources that are already inside, just waiting on you to take action.
Awesome. So with that being said, we're not going to stay on here super long, working to convince you, because those of you that are here and you've been through the whole week, you know how valuable this is. You've heard testimonials of Academy member after Academy member coming up here. You've heard from Beverly, Cornell, you've heard from Kaylee, you've heard from Jean, you've heard from all these individuals on how powerful it is and how tight-knit of a group it is. So go to workwithcoachk.com if you're interested. Once the 3 spots have been taken, the site will come down and we'll just say, get in, y'all. If you're working on getting in, you're going to claim one of the last 3 spots. Just put working on it in the chat. Put working on in the chat. Wesley says, who can you bring with you? This is only for one person. Now, if you have a spouse, you can attend the Zoom calls together. Significant other, you can join the Zoom calls together. But the mastermind and stuff is only for one person. All right. But yeah, get in. Susie says, working on it. Jill says, I'm going to get it done. Jill, I've seen your face. You've been here with your camera on. We would love to see you in the Academy. We would love to see you in there.
Absolutely.
All right. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to send you guys email and text reminders after this to make sure you have the link. But Coach, anything you want to say before we wrap this up? I know it's been we've been on here about 3 hours. So
yeah, once again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who showed up and who made this an amazing 5-day challenge. But most importantly, thank the team for being available and just making sure that everything runs smoothly. And of course, you, Michael, you guys put some thank yous in the chat for Michael just for being here every day, showing up early, accountability calls, late at night, making sure emails and text messages and everything goes out. I don't know when he sleeps or how he gets it done, but Michael, I truly appreciate you and the team just for being right here by my side and making this 5-day challenge a success, 7-day challenge a success.
You're very welcome. We got an amazing team in the background. I don't do everything. Nicole and Rodell and so many other of them are amazing. So thank you all for being here. Go take action. Let's do it one last time. You know me. We have to close out one last time by saying action together. Okay. So let me see who I could pull up this time. Who did I pull up before? Do you remember, Coach? I pulled up
Dr.
John
Erica, John.
Erica. Okay. Let me see. Johnny, where's Johnny at? Because he invested and I'm putting him on the spot. I'm already getting him used to this. All right. Johnny, I need you to say something. I need you to say something encouraging, motivating, and then count to 3, and we're all going to go out saying action. All right.
I'll tell you, this brother picking on me, y'all. Say 2024 is over. Say 2025 is going to be better.
2025.
Everything that you dreamed about in the past, you have an opportunity to do what you got to do to make it happen in 2025. Everybody on this call, your dreams are not over. It's just the beginning. This is January. Now, when we see you again, when we talk to you again, you're going to have testimonials because things are going to be better because you're going to apply yourself and something great is going to happen. Give yourselves a hand clap. That's how we're going to go out. We thank God for you. Coach K is the best. Michael Tucker is great in the team. We appreciate you guys. Love you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. On the count of 3, action. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Action.
On in 2025. Thank you, Coach K and Michael.
Let's go.
Appreciate you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Everybody just dogs. I do want to start in the backyard first. Check on the line.
Action.
Yeah, I